And we're live. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the 192nd episode of the Fake Nerd Podcast. I'm Brandon C. McClure. With me, as always, on this quarantine cast journey is Sparks Whitty.
Hi.
Ryan Eliopoulos, the 14th Esquire.
You can just call me Ryan. I like it. No, not anymore.
Escargo.
Benjamino Magneto the second.
Waka Waka. The second, the fifth.
The second, the fifth.
So does that mean I'm the seventh?
Sure.
Or the 10th.
I like to think the seventh, honestly.
Lineages, how do they work?
I don't know. Yes, I don't know.
I am here in my hometown of Monterey Bay because it's my dad's birthday. So I risked the travel to see my 87-year-old dad and my blind diabetes dog.
There you go.
Diabetic dog. She doesn't recognize me anymore.
Is it because she's blind?
Yeah, she recognizes by scent now, and since my scent is different, she doesn't know who I am.
Oh. You should just cover yourself in sausage at all times. So she's like, oh, that smells great.
At least she'll love me then.
Yeah. False love, but it'll be love.
How are you guys this week? What have you guys been up to? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first because besides just playing lots of video games, I don't think I did a lot, really. Like I said last week, I got a new computer. So I started playing this game called Control, which is an X-Files, Twin Peaks-esque adventure game that's really, really cool and really surreal. And I'm really glad I got to play it under the right circumstances. Because as we've talked about before, Control came out on the regular consoles, but the performance is really bad and it's really janky and clunky. So I played it on my new PC. Runs like a beaut. Looks great. Super excited. The problem on my streaming end, I can't get my streaming to work right. So that's a work in progress. Did I watch any TV shows? No. Besides with you, I think.
Yeah, we watched. We can cover them real quick.
Yeah.
We did our weekly Motherland, which is now over. We watched the season finale. It did get renewed this week.
Thanks to you guys.
Motherland, Fort Salem, and my friend's show from Freeform, Everything's Gonna Be Okay. Both were renewed for second seasons.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
It's awesome. So very stoked about that because Motherland is still really interesting.
It had I think a pretty cool ending. So it's a good way to oh man, what's the next season gonna be?
Yeah, definitely. And we watched Harley Quinn, which was really good.
Yes,
continues to be really good. And what else was? I guess those are our only shows this week.
I think so. Did we watch any movies together?
No.
I watched Ip Man. For the Downright Annoyed movie podcast. Ip Man is so cool. He punches 100 punches a second. Donnie Yen's great. If you guys have never seen Ip Man, arguably one of the best modern martial arts movies of all time. Truly exceptional, not just in martial arts. It's a really good movie. The drama is really good and Donnie Yen's really good. It's about this pacifist who's also a fighter dealing with an invasion during World War II. So it's steeped in historical accuracy. And Ip Man was a real person who did train Bruce Lee. So a lot of the fighting is it's dramatized for a movie, but this was a real person who went through real shit in World War II. So it's it's really cool to see a martial arts movie that's based in some accuracy, even though they're still doing kicky flips and this isn't Crouching Tiger.
I wanted to see that one.
And apparently there's 4 of them. I didn't know there was 4 of them and they're all good. So I'm like, oh my God, I have 3 more great martial arts movies to watch. He fights Mike Tyson in one of them.
Yeah, I've heard about this franchise. I always wanted to see it.
And I'm like, what? So that's me, Ip Man and video games.
Thanks. I'll just piggyback off his. I finished my rewatch of the original dub of Neon Genesis Evangelion, the 1997 version.
I'll stand up and give you an applause.
Congratulations.
I could be part of the conversation now. This is great.
Yeah. When I was going back and finishing it, I was thinking about why it was certainly the way it was and making Death and Rebirth and End of Evangelion. So I went to look into it, and so episodes. So when he made Death and Rebirth, which you guys didn't watch, there's things cut in there that because there was a lot of disagreement between him and the anime studio about what the ending of the series should be. And that led to a lot of production delays all the way back to episode 21, but it's most obvious in episodes 25 and 26. The reason why there's so much reused animation to tell the story is because they actually like totally ran out of production time and budget in order to, because the studio was kind of cutting him off.
Oh, wow.
So the whole thing is that because it was so popular, he wanted to go back and tell the story the way he wanted to tell it. The first way he tried to do that was Death and Rebirth and End of Evangelion. And while he was happy with End of Evangelion, he wasn't very happy with Death and Rebirth. So what he did is after that, he actually took pieces from Death and Rebirth and then a few more pieces and put them back into episodes 21 through 24 in what's called the director's cut versions, which are about 5 to 6 minutes longer episodes that apparently improve the narrative of the story. And I haven't watched them. But now I'm looking into that because I want to watch those. And then so like his ideal version of watching Evangelion is that you watch 1 through 20 of the series, then 21 through 24 of the director's cut episodes, and then End of Evangelion. And that's the series.
That's 3 different things.
I'll do it.
I love it.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
So
I'll do it too.
I just ordered DVDs that are just episodes 21 through 24 of the director's cuts from the ADV dub from 1997 that they re-released for the Platinum Collection years later. And I just got those off eBay, so they'll be arriving. And I'll check those out, and I'll share those around with you, because apparently like it's really hard to know you're finding the director's cut episodes online.
I'm very interested in watching that.
Yeah, I'm super curious now. So that's going to be my whole thing. And then at some point I'm going to go through the Netflix dub and see how that compares, because I know there's a lot of controversy around episode 24.
I wouldn't know about that because I only watched the Netflix stuff. But
what it is? So there's a controversy. Like I don't know because I haven't watched the Netflix stuff, though. I've read articles. The controversy is about The Last Angel in the original American dub, and some people would argue the intention in the original series in Japan is to be a very homosexual-based relationship, and that Netflix's dub steers further away from that than they felt they should, like literally changing some of the original English dub lines.
Yes, they do.
So one note in particular is when they're in the shower together in episode 24. In the 1997 dub, he tells Shinji flat out, "I love you." And when Shinji's talking about it later, he says he said he loved me, and that's really important to him. And apparently, like, love is not a word used in the Netflix.
Right. They say like.
Yeah, I will say because I don't want to go into it because you haven't watched it yet, right. But I do think the Netflix one does shy away from it being a straight-on homosexual relationship. But I do think the Netflix thing, I do think it's implied. I do think with the way it's still the same animation.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say,
like, it says "I like you" and there's still a shower scene. I still felt it.
Yeah, I think like
I did too.
Visually, you can't get away from it.
Yes,
because I'm like, it's so blatantly there, and I was thinking about that when I was watching this dub. But I do understand the point where people are saying, why would you even bother changing it from love to like?
Yes.
Why would you change certain? There are other examples, but I didn't go through all of them. But other examples where the dialogue has shifted to make it less overt.
Yes.
Than the original animation dub, and everyone's just upset about that because, like, in America in 1997, it was a really big deal to have an anime that was so blatantly saying, "Here's a homosexual connection," and there's just a whole lot of people who were fans of the series specifically for being representation. Yeah, that are like, why did Netflix change that and that kind of thing? We'll get into that another day. But
I think we've been talking about this so much. Possibly we should do a special on it.
It's coming. I'm sure it's coming.
I'm glad to start it.
We'll have to watch those director's cut episodes though. Yeah. Other than that, I read the latest chapter of Dragon Ball Super because that came out earlier this week. And after I did, it made me want to play video games so bad. So I started playing Xenoverse 2 because I just recently got all of the add-on material. So I have all the add-on material up to date, which includes stuff from Super, includes stuff from Fighters, and includes stuff from Dragon Ball Super Heroes, which is really cool because they're just blatantly going for, like, with Dragon Ball Super Heroes in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, even though they've acknowledged that, like, messing with time creates the multiverse in a sense. They're now being blatantly like, here's where this multiverse exists and where this multiverse exists. And, like, the villain from Dragon Ball Super Heroes appears in a mission to make the moment where Goku and Vegeta in the original canon are supposed to become blue. Instead, they turn into Super Saiyan 4, and he messes with the timeline there, and you have to fix it.
Ooh.
So it's really cool.
I just watched Totally Not Mark did a whole review episode on the first 20 episodes of Super Dragon Ball Heroes. It's really fascinating stuff. That show is weird.
We've watched like half of it.
I think we watched the whole first season,
Okay,
and then we
yeah.
didn't watch season 2.
They come out in like
watch more.
What, like 5 minute
They
chunks?
come out in like Quibi bursts.
Yeah, they're like Quibi bursts, but it's really cool because it's just like, oh, there's Super Saiyan 4 Goku fighting Super Saiyan Goku.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
I remember like where we left off was like
Cooler.
right at the beginning of season 2. No, where the 2 like baby twins appeared in the Zamasu timeline.
Okay.
And we're like, what is happening?
Yeah, baby.
yeah,
God.
exactly. So anyways, Xenoverse 2 actually became like a game I didn't think I would spend a bunch of time playing this week, but I did because I wanted to get my character up to Super Saiyan Blue, and I did, and it's great. Other than that, I didn't really dabble in any other video games as much, other than like playing online. We played a bunch of Overwatch.
I went to the comic book store this week. I forgot.
So did I.
I only got one new comic. It was Jimmy Olsen, but that's okay. There was a huge sale. Our store, Ben, you got to go to our store, bud.
Oh, no, I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Guess what? Because I did go to the store. I got 2 books, and then my pull list, which was X-Men #9 and Sonic 27. They also had back issues of Fantastic Four X-Men. So I got issue 3, which I've been.
Did you get it for $1?
No. I think I got that one for full price, I believe.
Okay.
But that's not the point. The point is, I got 2 books that I've been wanting to get for the longest time, and one was 50% off, the other was 60% off, and I will show you those books right now if that's okay.
Please.
First one, Wonder Woman Earth 1 Volume 2, the hardcover by Grant Morrison. I'm very picky because once I start a collection of hardcovers, I gotta get the hardcovers. So I was able to get this finally. And
Green Lantern Earth 1 Volume 2 was just solicited.
Hell yeah!
Excellent, nice. Because I love the Earth 1 books. I think they're fantastic. Also, BT Dubs, Future Book Club, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And Brandon,
as much as Marvel cared about the Ultimate Universe.
What?
Yeah.
I wish they cared about Earth 1 as much as Marvel cared about Ultimate.
Oh, God, yeah, I know. Ugh.
They come out too sporadically. They announced Flash and Aquaman years ago, and they never came out.
I know. What the damn hell? But also, I got this, Brandon, because you kept talking about it, and I've been wanting to get this at a con, and obviously all the cons got canceled. But I got Immortal Hulk Volume 1.
Yes,
it's a good book.
The book's awesome.
Another Future Book Club. This was 60% off, so I had to get it, and I'm really looking forward to it, to reading this and probably getting the other Immortal Hulk books. So I'm really excited.
Go ahead.
No, I was just excited to go to the comic book store. Also, I just posted on Instagram about my friend Inga, who I was on her podcast a while ago, Adults Talking Anime Plus. She also made me this really cool Marvel mask.
Oh, that's dope, dude.
Yeah, so I don't have to keep begging Fanny to give me her spare mask that her work gives her. And did you guys want me to go into my week? Were you guys done?
So we also got a shit ton of books. We could spend the whole episode showing you how much. I'll just suffice it to say that my total was what would have been 430 came down to 175.
Holy shit!
So
yeah, mine was over 100, and I spent like 60.
A lot of good stuff.
Yeah,
I only spent $30 for my poll.
See, the thing you got to do is you look at the small books, which are nice, but you really got to look at the big ass books, because when you have an omnibus that is $80 and you get it for 60% off, that thing is like $35.
That's $35 right there.
Hardcover of X-Men Mutant Genesis 2.0, which is the first 7 issues of the 1990 run.
Yep.
I got that for 60% off.
I got all of the Marvel X-Men noir stuff for like $15, and that's like 15 issues. It's great. It's a huge book. Yeah. Comic books are quote unquote kind of back. You know, the books that I want to read are only digital, unfortunately. But
we both picked up. Our new issue was the Jimmy Olsen.
Yep.
The new Jimmy
Only
Olsen.
Jimmy.
And I also picked up the first issue of the Star Wars Clone Wars Tales. The new comic that just started, because I'm in a Clone Wars vibe and I want to see it.
I feel you.
Outside of that, we've all done a lot of online gaming with each other. This past week. One more thing. Megan's still going through Community. We're now in season 5. I forgot that season 4 is actually pretty good.
That's when I stopped watching.
On a whole, I think season 4 is actually pretty good, and season 5's not bad either.
which
it's
is
not as strong as seasons 1 through 3, but like 4 feels just as much in step with seasons 1 and 3 as anything.
Season 4, I think season 4 has really good episodes in it, but I think as a whole, it lost something. That said, the episode that introduces Brie Larson is incredible, and I love that episode dearly. Because Brie Larson is introduced as Abed's potential love interest, and she actually comes back in season 5, and she's the only thing that carries over from 4 to 5. And I think she's just delightful in the role.
Is 4 the season that Dan Harmon got fired? Yeah. I just stopped watching because I refused.
Season 5 has the Troy departing 2-parter, which are incredible episodes on their own. They did I watched the Community special read along, read through of that episode, the first episode that when Pierce dies, and it's really fucking funny. Excuse me for my language.
In the episode, it's Walton Goggins.
Yeah,
reading the.
So here's the thing. So I haven't watched Community. I only watched season 3 or 1 through 3, right? So I didn't. The table read, I thought that was a new episode that they were doing just for fun. I didn't know it was an episode from season 4. So when they're talking about Mr. Stone and all this stuff, I come downstairs and I hear on their TV that episode, and I'm like, what the? This is not a real episode. How are you guys watching this? And then he tells me, no, they just read an old script. I thought it was a new episode. So I had a crazy trip for like 5 minutes. They filmed an episode since I watched that table read. And I'm like, what is happening? I'm like, no, I'm just stupid.
But yeah, I am coming to appreciate the later seasons more further away from it, even though Dan Harmon isn't there. In the 4th season, it still feels like good Community. Like I will acknowledge that like seasons, honestly, in my opinion, more like the later part of season 1 and seasons 2 and 3 are like the soul of the show. Yes. But that doesn't mean like early season 1 isn't good or season 4 isn't good or season 5.
Yeah.
Although season 5, is that when Harmon comes back? Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels tonally very different all of a sudden. Like Harmon brought a different kind of mentality to it for sure.
That's why season 5's first episode is called Repilot.
Literally, I know, but like literally the staging and framing of things changes and the lighting changes.
Is season 6 the Yahoo one?
Yes.
I wonder if him coming back, there was like stipulations or something where he still couldn't be the reason he got fired. You know what I mean? So like, so like he had to tone it down or something maybe, because I haven't watched it, so I don't know.
I mean, but these are things where like what I mean is there was a decision, like his like the overall eye for the show changed.
Like, could it be a budget thing?
I don't think so.
No?
I think that because season 4 was on just as much of a budget constraint as season 5 was. Okay. Their episode order was cut down and everything. But it's still like, if you look at it, it looks visually like it's just as much in step with the original seasons, as long as it's not one of the episodes where they're parodying something where they like totally change the film style to match that.
Yeah.
The standard Community style stays the same, but when you reach season 5, the lighting shifts, the frame is wider on people rather than staying as close to them as it used to. It just shows the rooms differently. It's interesting.
I wonder, that could be like a behind the scenes production thing that we just don't know about. Yeah. Maybe. Interesting.
I watched the read through of the season 5 episode, and watching it and watching all that, the cast back together with the exception of Chevy Chase, like I didn't realize how important Community was for me.
Yeah.
And Pedro Pascal, I don't know if he read the script beforehand, because he was hysterical by the end of it. It was really funny. But that show was so influential to me at just such a seminal age. It's crazy how important that show is to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would just say, like, if you're a fan of Community, or if you're a fan of Community who stepped out before the last seasons, whether that's season 6 or whatever, go back.
Yeah.
Because it's worth going through. Like it's worth watching. It's not a drain. It's not a slog. You're not watching Inhumans. You'll enjoy your time. It's not 100% the same thing, but it's like it's still good. It's still quality. It is not like the way people talk about the last seasons of The Office.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Ben, did you want to go next?
Yeah, of course. I didn't do a whole lot this week, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch End of Evangelion because something else dropped on Netflix last Friday, and I started getting Fanny through it, and it's awesome because Fanny is officially watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, and she enjoys it.
Good.
I came home from work, like we watched the first few episodes, I want to say last Sunday, and then a few days later, I come home from work, and she's all the way through season 1. Like, I come in and she's at the Northern Air Temple. She binged the entire first season by herself.
Good.
And now we're watching it together, and it's great. I'm getting back into Avatar: Last Airbender. I'm absolutely loving the show.
I'm thinking about doing it.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for Megan to be ready.
Yeah, she's like, one of the cool things that I never noticed when I was a kid is like when you first meet Azula, May, and Ty Lee. Like, Fanny's talking, like, we're talking about those characters, and Fanny's like, that's really cool. There's like a lot of badass women in this show. I'm like, there are.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of badass. You got Katara, Toph, Azula, Ty Lee, May.
Azula's the evil sister, right?
Yeah, Azula's the evil sister.
Oh yeah, I know where I get my type from.
What's her name? Sokka's girlfriend. What's her name?
Suki.
Suki, thank you.
Yeah, Suki 6, and if you want to include Yue when she becomes the Moon Spirit,
Kyoshi.
Yeah, the Warriors of the Kyoshi.
Yeah. So Avatar: The Last Airbender being on Netflix has brought up a lot of discourse on about Legend of Korra. Interestingly enough, on Twitter.
I actually saw that, and I'm mad because sorry to cut you off, Brandon, because I did see someone tweet about how we should have gotten 4 seasons of Last Airbender, and then I think it was Netflix Ireland, or it was another, or some other dude or some other Netflix thing. I don't know what it was. It wasn't. I don't know if it was official or not, but someone did like the clapping emoji saying Aang's story was told. And in a sense, the guy's right. Aang's story was told. It gets continued in the comic books, thank goodness. But at the same time, I'm fine with watching a new Avatar.
I never saw that discourse, but it really reminded me. Like, I only saw Legend of Korra once. I saw it when it aired, and I never went back. Even though I own all 4 of those books, all 4 of those seasons, I was intended to go back, but I just never really liked it as much as I liked Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's good, but I never liked it as much as The Last Airbender. And so many people are talking about like how they much prefer it, or it's just as good, blah, blah, blah. And so much discourse around it. And I've been thinking about going back through Legend of Korra just to get it another shot.
I definitely would.
At all. So
really? I didn't know that.
I would definitely go through. Don't get me wrong. It did take a while for me to get through, or not to get through Korra, but for me to adjust to Legend of Korra, especially because of the time skip, the jump in technology, seeing a new world post 100-year war. But at the same time, it was like that childlike wonder of I'm watching a world that I grew up loving. I'm watching a world that had a cohesive story.
I think it has more to do with the fact that you and I, Ben, have similar sensibilities when it comes to these type of things. Where Avatar: The Last Airbender fit more of our sensibility of like the feudal Japan type thing. And whereas Korra jumped 70 years in the future, but the technology jumped 100 years into the future. Yeah. So it became much more modern, much more of a modern show.
It's like 1920s Industrial Revolution era.
Industrial Revolution. I wouldn't say it's modern.
And it kind of lost that. It kind of lost what made The Last Airbender appealing to us, and perhaps that's why we didn't connect to it at first. But I do think it's worth another shot to try and see, having that distance now, seeing what we make of it now.
And I mean, world aside, the characters of Korra and essentially Korra's team, they all have great dynamics with each other.
Yeah,
like Asami. I love Asami. She's one of my favorite characters, and I forget the brothers' names, but the Firebender, I think it's what's his name?
I remember one is Bolin. I don't remember the Firebender.
Bolin, yeah, that's the Earthbender brother.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But yeah, I'm getting Fanny. We're in the middle of Earth 2. Well, we met Toph.
You're in the middle of Earth 2?
Oh God, no! We're in the middle we're middle of the 2nd season, Book 2, Earth. Aang just learned how to Earthbend, so we're in. That's where we are in the show right now.
Nice.
So so we're watching Avatar: Last Airbender and other things. I didn't watch Evangelion because every time I came home, Fanny's like, "You want to watch Avatar?" I'm like, "Yes." The answer is always yes.
There's only enough time for one anime at a time.
But anyways, I'm just glad to be rewatching Last Airbender. I absolutely love that show.
I'm thinking about it,
video game wise, my brother praise the sun, my bros, because my brother and I we beat the base game Dark Souls 3 yesterday.
You beat the Lord of Cinder?
We not only just the Lord of Cinder, we kicked the Nameless King's ass.
Dude, the Nameless King is maybe the coolest boss in video games.
He is awesome, and also, we whooped his ass.
Isn't he? I'm pretty sure he's optional too, right?
He is. He's an optional boss. All right, so going through the Archdragon Peak, which is one of my favorite levels in the whole game. We get because you had Brad, you would probably have a heart attack because a lot of the monsters you have to fight in that area are snake people.
Snake
no, thank
people.
you.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they spit fire at you, and there's this one Cobra priestess who summons
thank you.
knights. Yeah, exactly.
This is my nightmare.
Exactly, it is. So getting through the Archdragon's Peak was phenomenal, but then once we got to the Nameless King, because I mean, I would watch stuff online. It's like I wasn't looking for it, but I knew of the Nameless King and how people would hate the Nameless King as much as they hated the Dancer of the Boreal Valley. And I'm talking to my brother. Yeah, I'm talking to my brother about it because he played the game when it first came out in 2016 and did it solo, and then he went back and did co-op again. And this is my first time playing through it, but we're doing co-op, and I'm like freaking out, thinking, "Oh man, Nameless King, I'm gonna hate this. This is gonna suck because you have to fight his dragon, and then you have to fight the Nameless King himself."
He's a dude, Brandon, who rides a dragon, and he has a lightning spear like Zeus.
Yeah,
he's
it's
truly
so
an epic
cool.
boss.
It's so freaking cool, and it my first time fighting him on my game because I had my brother come in on my game. We beat him in one try.
Nice.
And and then when we got into my brother's game, I died first, and then he died, so we restarted the fight over again, and we just whooped him. My brother only used one Estus when we fought the Nameless King.
I don't think I ever beat him because I didn't try multiplayer. I didn't beat him because after the 50th attempt, I'm like, nah, I'll pass.
I mean, don't get me wrong. My brother and I, we didn't necessarily grind. We explored, we treasure hunted, we did all this stuff. We fought so many monsters. We tried to power ourselves up, and then when we got to the Lord of Cinder, it felt like he was a chump. I don't know, it's just because my brother and I, like my brother said, we got good. Yeah, there's two of them too.
Yeah,
and why. Both of them, both the phases of the Lord of Cinder, kicked his ass, just whooped his butt, and it's like, damn. I mean, this game is great. Did I actually get good? I don't know. I was like, oh God, what's the word? I was doubting myself if I actually was really, really good or if I just got lucky.
See, here's the thing. Like, obviously, Dark Souls is a single player game. You can beat it single player. But it's still hard. Even if you have two people, the final boss is still the final boss. Like it's 100% easier because there's two of you. But that doesn't mean it's still not difficult.
But even then, when you have other people fighting. But also, Ryan, when you have other people fighting, the boss gets stronger, though.
Oh, good. See, that's
what happens in co-op. In co-op, I mean, yeah, you have another person whacking away at him, but the boss gets more health.
Good. That's what it should be.
Well, I mean, you did that when you went to fight the Valkyrie in God of War. Like, that's how you play games. You level up to the max, and then you go beat the last boss.
The Valkyrie in God of War, that took me quite a few tries. But also, God of War, I feels like a bit of a different play style. But of course, with the final Valkyrie, that felt good to finally.
No, but I'm not talking about the play style. I'm talking about how you play games. You've told us that you level up as much as you can, and then you go fight the last boss.
Yeah. I try to be as OP as humanly possible.
Yeah. Anything else?
Online gamed with those guys over there. It was fun. We played some Overwatch last night, which was really fun. I got my comic books yesterday. Well, you guys know I got my comic books yesterday, which was nice. And that's pretty much all I did. Watch Avatar, play video games, and I bought my books.
So I had a light week because I was traveling, but and my TV broke. So that sucks.
Press F to pay respects.
Yeah, seriously. So I didn't get to do a whole lot, but I did end up beating Uncharted 4.
Nice.
I put a lot of effort into that game to try to beat it. Just before my TV crapped out on me, I beat it.
Do you see why I don't want there to be a 5, Brandon? Now that the 4's ended?
When the way 4 ends, I would actually like there to be a 5, but not with Nathan Drake.
Okay. I just want to see. I think you should just let it be for a long time.
I think so too. I'm not saying like next year, and I'm not even saying like, Naughty Dog, give me a 5 or I'll riot. No, if they have an idea for a 5 without Nathan Drake, with the character, I think you know who I'm talking of.
Yeah.
Then I would like to see that. I would be into that. I would not be opposed to that idea.
Yeah.
But it's a really beautiful ending to Nathan Drake's story. The way it ended, and I'm really glad I didn't. I was told how it ended, but apparently I was lied to. Because the ending that I was told was not the ending of the game.
Good then.
No spoilers. So no spoilers, thank goodness. So as I'm doing the last mission on the ship, I'm just like, oh no, this is it. This is what happens. And then it doesn't happen. I was so happy. It's such a great game. I think it's my favorite of the 4, personally. Right up there with 2. 2 is really great. But I really enjoyed those games. I really like adventure stories, and I don't think there's a lot of them in mainstream media. So I was really happy to play through them. I'm going to play Tomb Raider next because I want more adventure stories.
Oh, have you not played any of the new Tomb Raiders?
No, I haven't.
I would argue some of those Tomb Raiders are better than some of the Uncharted games.
Yeah, I will 100% say that the first Tomb Raider that I've played, that new of
the first one's better than the first Uncharted.
It's better than leagues better than the first Uncharted. Even in like a similar setup in a sense, much better.
The first Tomb Raider is Batman, Brandon. Yeah. They play like Batman. Like it's open world, you get more abilities, unlock more places. It's Arkham Asylum but with a lady. It's awesome.
Nice. Yeah, I really love adventure stories, and I have the first Tomb Raider on the Xbox One, so I'm going to go through it because I have a hunger for adventure tales.
You're gonna really like it. I think it's great.
I'm excited. I also watched Justice League versus the Fatal 5, which is one of the DC animated films, but it is actually a follow up to Justice League Unlimited. So it brings back George Newbern, Kevin Conroy, and Susan Eisenberg as Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman, while also introducing Jessica Cruz as Green Lantern.
Oh, yeah.
And introduce the Legion into that continuity, the Legion of Superheroes.
Watch that one.
Basically, the Fatal 5 are a Legion villain that come to the past to fight the Justice League and try to take Jessica Cruz. I really enjoyed it. It's a really good follow-up to Justice League. There's a lot of musical cues that gave me there we go. There's a Superman theme I like. And hearing those voices together for the first time in years was great. And hopefully it leads to more of a DC animated reunion movie that brings back everyone. Because Jon Stewart wasn't in it, or Hawkgirl wasn't in it. They get mentions, but they're not in it. Okay. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really interesting film.
I know Susan, what's her name? Eisenberg. She put the Twitter world aflame for like a minute because she posted a picture of the Justice League saying Justice League 2020, everyone, because it's like 20th anniversary, and she was just saying I want it to happen, but she made people think that an anniversary was happening. And for like 5 minutes, everyone was really excited. I was like, oh, Susan, you got to choose your words right.
She spearheads that a lot, because I remember when we did our interview with Andrea Romano, like Susan Eisenberg, she's the one who like spearheads, like, let's try to get this ready, let's get this ball rolling.
She wants the band back together. She wants a Wonder Woman animated show.
I would watch it. I love Susan Eisenberg as Wonder Woman.
I really liked how Bruce Timm created Jessica Cruz for the DC animated universe as the newest Green Lantern. However, there's a slight continuity error because Hal Jordan is mentioned as one of the Green Lanterns in the DC animated universe, and he's not. Kyle Rayner was the first Green Lantern, and then it was Jon Stewart. So maybe I thought that was kind of funny.
Like in the off screen, he got picked, and then
he showed up later. Yeah,
I remember there was an episode of Justice League Unlimited where it was like parallel universes where
they were going through. I know the episode you're talking about. They're going through time, and time's being messed up, and Jon Stewart turns into Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
Oh right, yeah.
Batman Beyond crosses over in that episode with a future Static Shock. It's really good.
Doesn't the Legion of Superheroes also get introduced because Supergirl goes to the future and starts dating Brainiac 5?
Oh,
I think you're right. But I'm not 100% sure.
Because I remember there's a specific scene of Superman turning around and is like, so, who's this boy she likes so much?
Wow. Good call.
Either way, the fact that the Legion is back in the DC animated universe in a way makes me happy. The fact that Justice League vs. Fatal 5 is good makes me happy.
I just highly recommend checking it out.
Where did you rent it?
I bought it a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's on my Movies Anywhere, though, if you guys want to check it out.
I'm sure it's somewhere on the 7 streaming services I own, right?
Maybe on HBO Max this weekend.
Probably.
Yeah. I actually think that one is on DC Universe last I remember checking.
Okay.
So
cool.
Then I also caught up.
Sorry, go on.
No worries. I also caught up on all of my comic books. I finally finished every single comic not the trades. That's a whole other endeavor I have to go through. But all the single issue comics. I read the last 3 issues of Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, the last 2 issues of X-Men, the last issue of Excalibur and X-Force, the last issue of Immortal Hulk, which was its landmark 750th issue, where he fights Zemnu and Darius Agar. Am I right? That right? Dario Agar. It is so cool, and I really hope that is Christian Bale and Thor: Love and Thunder.
Al Ewing has repurposed that villain to be a Hulk villain now, and I'm like, that's cool. He's been a Thor villain for decades. Just throw him in the Hulk. Why not? Make the Minotaur man fight the Hulk. Who cares?
Well, because now Hulk wants to take down the Roxxon Corporation, and he's the leader of the Roxxon Corporation. So they clash. And Zemnu was doing this thing like, oh, remember me? I'm actually the Hulk, and you remember me from children's stories, and that was blah blah blah. But he's got like this weird like metal mouth in his body because the last time
Reinhardt.
Because the last time he was beaten by someone, he like was really mangled, so he's got like robotic parts now, and he's got this like swirling evil mouth that turns people into like creepy Zemnu monsters. It's awesome. That book is so cool.
I cannot wait to start reading Immortal Hulk. I mean, obviously one of the reasons why I picked it up is because Brandon, I mean this in the nicest way possible because you would not shut up about it.
Because
it's really good.
Certain books need a push because this is a Hulk book unlike any other.
And I mean, because I remember when we talked when I did Hulk Gray for my book club a while ago, how the Hulk is one of those heroes that I don't necessarily gravitate towards because it's like it's the Hulk. What's so special about the Hulk? He gets angry, he gets super strong, big deal. But just after hearing Brandon talk about Immortal Hulk, I'm like, no, I need to give this a shot.
This latest issue.
Give it to read.
This latest issue, the Devil Hulk, who is the current Hulk in control, has been trapped away by Zemnu in Bruce Banner's mind. And Bruce Banner thinks that he's Robert Banner, not Bruce Banner. Oh. And so Hulk, the original Savage Hulk, who's like, no, I'm Hulk. I don't understand why people keep calling this thing Hulk. Teams up with Planet Hulk inside of Bruce Banner's mind to try to get Savage Hulk free so that he can destroy Zemnu. It's awesome.
It's like Legion inside the Hulk's mind.
And I mean, Betty Ross is this weird harpy thing, and Rick Jones is this weird looking zombie with glowing green eyes. It's awesome. That book's awesome.
Well, I can't wait to start reading it.
But not only did I catch up on all those comics, I went to the comic book store and I bought new comics. Guys, new comics are here. We all did that. But Birthright was the only comic that was available to me. That was the only book that came out as far as new issues. Birthright's almost done. I'm really excited. I really like that book. Been following it since the beginning. And then Green Lantern by Jeff Johns, book 3, which goes up to the Sinestro Corps War. And then Superman Smash of the Clan finally had its trade released. So I picked that up. So check that out.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's all.
I'm interested in reading Superman Smashes the Clan. I would like to read that.
I've heard nothing but like it's great things. Like it's just so fun.
Yeah, me too.
I have the 3 little books that came out.
Brandon, was one of the X-Men issues you read where Apocalypse fought Melody Guthrie to get her powers back? Is that the issue you read?
I read that before the shutdown.
Oh, okay.
The last 2 issues I read were the Brood. With the Brood King.
Oh, with Little Brew has the king egg?
Yeah.
Juicy.
Yeah.
Is that in Excalibur?
No, that's in X-Men. And then Excalibur, the latest issue of Excalibur I read was
Starlight Citadel.
Yeah. That's issue 9, right? Because that's the last issue of Excalibur I have, is issue 9.
Yeah, that's the last issue that came out.
Starlight Citadel is the nexus of all reality.
Okay. Shall we get into our news or bread and butter?
Sure.
Do it.
Bread and butter.
So we got a lot of sad news to get through before we get to some good news. Sadly, a couple of significant deaths happened this week. I wanted to mention and bring up Charles Lippincott passed away this week. If you guys don't know who that is, he passed away at a heart attack at the age of 80. If you don't know who he is basically the reason why Star Wars was merchandised. You know, he was George Lucas's publicist essentially, and he went to Marvel and he went to Toys and Kenner and said, "Hey, this is going to be popular. This is going to be big. Do you want this property?"
Boy, was he right.
And absolutely. Yeah. He is the reason why Marvel Comics published Star Wars books. He's the reason why Kenner had Star Wars toys. Without him, and George Lucas even posted this on social media, is like, without him, Star Wars would not be the thing, the massive juggernaut it is today. So I wanted to say, thank you.
Thank you.
Great job. This one's kind of sad if you know who this is. Ken Nightingale, who is most affectionately known as Pink Shorts Boom Guy from the set of Star Wars A New Hope. He is the guy in the Tunisian desert who is holding the boom, and he's got no shirt and pink shorts.
Yep.
And he talked about how, all that. He died this week at the age of 92. No cause of death was revealed. He worked on all sorts of movies, all the Star Wars films, and a lot of stuff for Spielberg. So He's not just Pink Shorts Boom Guy, but he's most affectionately known as that.
But 92 years old, he lived a full life.
Yeah, he's strangely going to be like famous though, because like I immediately knew what you were talking about.
Yeah. Ken Osmond died this week, also at the age of 76. He played the character Eddie Haskell in Leave It to Beaver. He was typecast in Leave It to Beaver, so he reprised that role a few times before retiring from acting altogether and becoming a cop.
Oh.
And then he retired from the force and did one more movie and then passed away this year. But yeah, so that, you know, good talent lost to the ages. And then this one is tragic, and I felt this was necessary to bring up. This Hana Kimura killed herself this week.
Yeah.
If you don't know who that is, she's a Japanese pro wrestler. She was also on a reality TV show on Netflix and in Japan. Very popular. She died. Yeah, she killed herself. Yeah. What is it?
Terrace House. It's very popular. Very popular.
She was 22 years old, and she was being cyberbullied, and she took her life because of it. And I think it's important to bring that up specifically because cyberbullying is a very real thing. Many people experience it every day, and it is tragic that that sort of thing has taken this life.
Yeah. The unfortunately, the more popular you get, the more people just hate you for no reason.
Yeah.
And the internet is a very easy way to just release anger, whether you mean it or not. But words do have meaning, and they do hurt people. And we're not famous, right? But we have one bad Twitter post, and it puts us in a bad mood. Imagine getting millions of bad tweets like your entire life. Like
Emma5,
it sucks.
Yeah, Emma5 posted like having a thick skin shouldn't be a prerequisite to being in the entertainment industry.
Exactly.
Like what's so wrong? What's so hard about being just a nice person?
Yeah.
You know, you look at all these sort of things, and we'll get into it with a news item later, but you know, I get cyberbullied because I say something that someone just disagrees with, and it's so easy to just be behind your screen and just release something. But these words have an effect on people. They have power over people. Mm-hmm. And just because you don't think that's true doesn't mean it's not.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. Sticks and stones break my bones, but words never hurt me. But still, things people say just for no volition, especially on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever social media platform you choose, and you decide to attack something for a certain thing they say, is just, why would you do that? Of course, it boggles my mind. But some people, I mean, you obviously have people who see the fun in it. There is no fun, but they find fun in it for some reason. There are people who out there who sometimes you might actually get debates. Sometimes you actually might change people's minds. But for people who just attack maliciously for maliciously's sake, is just, I absolutely despise it.
Sorry, Ben, you opened it up with it's true that sticks and stones break my bones, but words will not.
That's not true at all. That's not true.
Cyberbullying is proven that's not true.
I know from experience that words have hurt all of us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's very easy, actually.
That phrase needs to die. Sorry, but
no, I completely agree with you, Sparks. It does need to die.
It's unfortunate that there's no cure for cyberbullying on either end, because I think it's like, obviously there are the people who are just assholes, but there's also people like, the reason they cyberbully is also because of, you know, their own complex issues and where they put, you know, there's no outlet in either court on either side, and it's a shame, because like, I'm not trying to propose anything. I'm just saying, like, it sucks that there's really no clear answer on how to fix that kind of problem. The genie is out of the bottle on social media. You can't put it back in, and there's really no way to cap off on this kind of stuff.
You just don't use it, but that's kind of hard to do in modern.
It is.
I take a lot of these things really hard because I was bullied my entire life.
Yeah,
I was bullied my whole life, and even up to through college and my first job, and then it became cyberbullying. And so when something like this happens, like, I take it really harsh. I take it really hard because I feel like, you know, someone can tell me just the wrong thing, and what's going to stop. What I am no different than this 22-year-old girl.
No.
Right.
What is it going to take for someone to say to me that's going to make me do this? Like, that's
the problem, because again, when there's anonymity, When you're anonymous on the internet, I can't use that. I never say that. When you're anonymous,
Anemone.
when you're a sea anemone on the internet, you can throw any words you want out there, and it doesn't come back to you in any negative way, right? You're
Right.
JohnTron969 on Twitter. You could say anything, and it's never going to affect you. There's a lot of people like that, and they just don't think about it. A lot of the times when people are being mean, they don't think about how it actually hurts someone. Like, they watch a bad movie, like, wow, you're a piece of shit in that movie. They don't think that that's actually being mean. That's just like talking about a movie. But people are people. Everyone has a soul. Everyone hurts. And
Excuse me.
it's just eventually we all got to realize you don't always have to just say it. You don't have to send that tweet. Maybe
and the immortal words of Ben Magnet.
Don't be a dick.
Ben, do the thing.
Don't be a dick.
No, do the. There you go.
I do think it's important to just say, I know it's hard, but in those situations, like, Brandon's a great example in my opinion, because Brandon does get into the discourse on Twitter. That if it were ever so overwhelming, you remove yourself from Twitter. You just step away and you turn to the support system that you have that are real people that you know.
Yeah.
Because social media is in many ways an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Things on there are false, and that's hard. I'm not saying it's easy to do that, but when you feel yourself push that point, recognize when you gotta maybe distance yourself away. I know Megan, because of everything that's been happening around the quarantine and just how much debate and discussion and news comes out about the coronavirus. She removed herself from Twitter. She removed herself from Facebook. She removed herself from Instagram.
Smart.
She just stepped away from all of it. She's like, I don't want to see it. Life is stressful enough for now. And I highly recommend that anytime you feel like something is hindering you more than benefiting you, take it away.
Definitely.
It's true.
One thing I want to mention, Brandon, I don't know where this is. I haven't read up on it, but this is something I heard. So once again, take everything I say with a grain of salt. But I don't know if it's going to be a federal law or some states are implementing this. They're implementing new cyberbullying laws where if say a cyberbully tells someone to kill himself and the victim does go through with it, that becomes a manslaughter charge.
That's a whole nother
I know.
issue
That's a whole other thing. That's something
sticky.
I remember reading a while ago. Once again, it could be completely false. Just that's something I heard, but I don't know if that will help. I don't know what's going to go on, but because cyberbullying doesn't even stop. But as Spark said, genie's out of the bottle. We don't have a right way to fix this.
That's a complex.
The problem with
thought on a
the problem with
situation.
that is that directly goes against free speech. And yes, you shouldn't tell someone to kill yourself, but that's
right. And
those are just, you're just saying kill yourself. That doesn't mean.
And that's just hi Brandon. And that's only covering like that specific phrase. So like,
what happened?
I don't know. You were just gone and then you were back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, let's move on from that because we could.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we've said enough on that piece. It's very sad what happened to her. Mm-hmm. I wish that didn't happen, but it does.
Okay. Hopefully that doesn't happen again.
We'll find out.
Yeah. Okay.
Be good to your loved ones, people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is the news that shocked the world. This section here. And yes, we're going
bullying more.
Now, first, we're going to talk about Batwoman.
That's still kind of talking about cyberbullying.
True.
Ruby Rose was bullied over Batwoman.
That's true.
Which I think at least on some level contributes to her reasons for maybe wanting to step away from it.
Yeah. So Ruby Rose has left the role of Batwoman, being the first time in the CW series that a major actor has left that role. And so it does appear to be a mutual breakup. Nobody's quite said there's a lot of animosity. And more than anything, I think what's contributed to it is the fact that, she wasn't quite used to the amount of work that she needed to do. And more than anything, I think the life-threatening injury that she sustained in the beginning of filming had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I was looking this up, and yeah, she had a serious injury that made it hard.
Yeah, I mentioned when we were doing the crisis, I mentioned that she had that tattoo that was right there because of the stunt.
I didn't realize how much that actually affected her, and like she was having problems all the time, like trying to do these stunts, working 12-hour days, doing her own stunts, and like
working 14-hour days.
That's no one should have to push themselves.
It's difficult for feature actors to code to television here, and especially the CW, which shoots in Vancouver, which is very far away from where she lives. with these 14-hour work days, with these massive stunts. Like,
yeah, they shooting, days on ends for like hours on end. It's like, yeah, it's very different than shooting a movie. It's strangely like the budget's smaller, but it might be even harder. That's kind of shitty.
I am really, really sad that she's leaving the role, because I thought she was doing a great job. Having watched most of the Batwoman season, I'm like 3 episodes behind on all CW shows, but I thought she was doing a good job. I really liked her for the part. Other qualms with the show aside, I'm really sad that we'll never get the Batwoman Supergirl crossover. That was her and Melissa Benoist, because I liked their chemistry so much.
Yeah,
and we'll never have that crossover episode.
Yeah,
and that's really sad to me.
Yeah, I know that they're looking for another actress in the LGBT community, and they should. But it is a shame, because I did really like her in the role. The little I saw of her, I didn't see much. But I thought she was a good fit for that role. And when she was cast, I said, like, that's perfect.
Mm-hmm. I think we all did.
And I know you were saying to me, Sparks, like, she was really gung-ho about being in the show. And like it
was a big deal to her.
It was a big deal, yeah. And I don't think she did this lightly. But like, you have to put your health and safety above everything else. Like, that sucks. Like,
I think that you're absolutely right. She loved doing the show. She was very passionate about it, and I think, and especially the fans, like, I think this was not an easy decision to come to, and I think because of that, Greg Berlanti and everyone who works at Berlanti Pictures and CW was just like, yeah, we understand.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I'm hopeful for the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to do a multiverse thing if they can bring her back for like an episode.
And I bet she would. Absolutely. Yeah,
that'd be cool. Okay, so the Snyder Cut's happening. Moving on.
Cyberbullying.
No, we should.
No, I'm excited to talk about it. I really am, actually.
Okay,
it's been a very interesting week online.
There's been a lot of rumblings for a long time, but most recently, this past week, there's been a lot, and it started to look very clear that something was happening with the Snyder Cut, the so-called Snyder Cut. And I knew immediately what was happening when Zack Snyder said, "I'm doing the watch along for Man of Steel, and I'm going to surprise you guys." Mm-hmm. I knew immediately what that meant, that the Snyder Cut is happening.
Yep.
So after Man of Steel was over, he said, "I have one more thing to show you." And he put up the banner for HBO Max.
Well, first he got Henry Cavill on the line, because that's important.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, no, yeah. The live stream's actually, so I'm gonna be. I don't want the Snyder Cut, but I'm gonna be the positive end of the spectrum on this, because there are a lot of really happy people who don't deserve the hate that the other people who do deserve the hate are getting, right? So he brought Henry Cavill on. Henry Cavill is jacked. He's got a mustache. He's playing video games, right? He's in a tank top, and he's like, "Hey guys, hey, it's me. I'm Superman. Hey Zach, why don't you show him that thing you were telling me about?" And he's like, "Oh, should I show him that thing I was talking about?" And he's like, "Yeah, show him that thing." And then it's revealed, and then everyone's like, "Woo!"
And Ryan is absolutely correct. There are people that I love and respect. Mark Guggenheim is one of them. People who want this, and who haven't been complete assholes about it.
There are a lot of people online that I follow. A lot of like, there's a guy named Greg Miller. He's like he's like DC's biggest fan. Like, he's a huge YouTube guy. He used to work at IGN, but he's DC's biggest fanboy, and he has been the Snyder Cut apologist for years. And he's the nicest guy on the internet. There's no ill will in him. He just really wants to see the original version, because he does like that version of Superman. That's fine. You can like that. But he didn't get the version that he kind of was promised. So for people like that, I'm very happy that they're getting what they want. There are people who didn't get the movie they were promised, and that does suck. That does suck. So
and so that is absolutely true. And I want to be clear, I'm not, any negative words I say about this, which there will be many, are not directed towards them.
Yes, I just want to, because I'm also going to be negative. I just want to get all the niceness out.
Can I weigh in? Objectively, being objective, I have no problem with a Snyder Cut of Justice League.
Yes.
I don't have an issue with it. objectively, I think that the version we got in 2017 is a very studio hands-on, washed up, and then Whedon doing the best he can film. It doesn't feel like a Joss Whedon movie to me. I don't hold it to those standards. It has glimmers of things that I think are quality, and I also credit Whedon for them because they're very clearly him.
Yeah.
But then it's just it's very much a manufactured product and a thing that has been messed with so much. And I understand people being frustrated with that. And in a world where no one had been pressing it other than Zack Snyder himself saying, you know, I really would like to release it one day. We had all these things, and it's just a shame because of how things fell out. Things related to my daughter made it so I had to step away. I've wanted to do this. And then fans just being like, that'd be really great, man. That'd be really cool. If that had been the discourse, I'd be like, this is really nice.
Yep.
This is a really nice thing, even though I'm not a big fan of Snyder's vision of these characters. At least there might be like a more clear, succinct vision of that movie. That's cool, guys.
Do we live in that world, though?
That's not the world we live in, though.
No.
Not even close.
So let me say what the rest of the news is before we get into some of the discourse. So it will stream exclusively on HBO Max starting sometime in 2021. Warner Brothers is giving Zack Snyder $20 to $30 million to finish it. Means CGI, editing, and reshoots. Now
that's a whole movie of money. Oh my god.
Now I just want to say, Zach, I thought it was done, ready to go. What happened, buddy? Anyway, the reshoots will not be with the main cast, however, because I'm sure none of them care anymore. And but
you need more than $20 million to get all of them back together.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen. I think it's the Henry Lennox Martian Manhunter reveal. I think that's the reshoot, the quote unquote reshoot.
Darkseid's involved. We know
Darkseid. Look, this is the most bloated movie I've ever seen in my life. If all these reveals that he was posting on Vero are true, Ryan Choi, Darkseid. Yeah. What is this movie?
There's either going to be, I don't know why there's two different versions. They haven't decided. It's either going to be a 4-hour movie or a 6-hour miniseries. I would much rather see the 6-hour miniseries because if you're going to make it long and bloated, but actually make it make sense like a TV show. Don't make it a 4-hour movie.
And so Zach was, let's go back to Zack Snyder's 5-part epic that he was working on since Man of Steel, quote unquote. Justice League was supposed to be part 1 of 3. So is this going to be part 1 and we never get part 2? It's like releasing Infinity War and then never seeing Endgame.
From everything that I've seen, what the movie might be like, it's going to open and end with Darkseid. So I think it is going to be like an Avengers situation where it is going to be a self-contained thing. It's going to tease Darkseid at the end, being like, "I am the big threat," but we're never going to get it. So it's going to be like it's going to be even a bigger cock tease than Justice League was.
Especially now that the DC, I don't know what the hell is going on with the DC universe.
Worlds of DC.
Or Worlds of DC, whatever it's called now. Like
that's what that's called.
Like we're getting Wonder Woman 84. Awesome. We're getting Aquaman 2 eventually. Cool. We might get Flash.
Let's
Shazam 2.
Warner Brothers doesn't know what the frack to do with Henry Cavill and Superman, which continuously to piss me off to the
You know what? Day. You know what? I'll say this: if this renews interest in Warner Brothers to bring back Henry Cavill as Superman, cool.
Oh yeah, okay. If that happens, great. I'm all for it. I love Henry Cavill as Superman. He loves to be Superman.
I gotta say, I think Joss Whedon is the only reason that we like Superman in the Justice League movie, because the original Superman in Zack Snyder's Justice League is the dark, depressing, taken over by Apocalypse version.
I agree.
So
I agree, but Henry Cavill has said that he never really got a chance to play Superman that he wanted.
Mm-hmm. But it's
and
not.
So I think with someone else, it would be really interesting to have a Man of Steel 2 and have Henry Cavill return. Because I would like to see him get a fair shot.
I would absolutely love that too. I'm saying I don't think the Justice League Zack Snyder movie is going to drum up interest in a Superman movie, because this Superman is going to be evil.
Here's what I'll say. If it's received well, they'll just see that as a net positive of like, oh, we can now, if generally it's received well, they're like, we can put a Justice League movie back on the docket in the future. We could put Superman back up in the future.
Yeah.
We don't need to put Ben Affleck's Batman back up because we're replacing him with Pattinson. But everything else we can put back into circulation.
Yeah.
We've cleaned up our mess. It would be the idea if it's received well.
Now let's talk a bit about why I think we're all kind of in agreement that this is a bad idea. The fact is, for 2.5 years, there has been an insufferable amount of cyberbullying related to Zack Snyder's name and this film. And Warner Brothers doing that has sent a very clear message that says, okay, keep doing that because you'll get what you want.
Yep.
And
It's a
that's
bad
what
precedent.
I don't like.
This I know this is, I don't know if this is the two sides of the same coin, but this kind of reminds me of all the hate the Sonic the Hedgehog movie got, like when that first trailer came out.
No, it's 100% the same.
Yeah,
it's
because those people, because a bunch of I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't like the design either, but I'm not yelling at the studio to go ahead and fix it. Other people did, and eventually they quote unquote fixed it. To be perfectly honest, the design is better, but that's besides the point. The point is, fans were outraged, and the studio listened to them and changed it. The fact that the Snyder Cut we're getting the same thing is like, I don't know. This is a very slippery slope that I don't think we should be going down.
Yeah,
this is the same mistake that Disney made with the Rise of Skywalker, on a much bigger level. Yeah. But it is a similar mistake.
I've already seen tweets from the bad Snyder Cut people who are like they have like a checklist and like, sweet, we got the Snyder Cut, time to get the Ayer cut next, guys, let's do it. I'm like, oh man, they really just like, it's Pandora's box. It really is, because now they got what they wanted after crying for years. So like, what's to stop them from just doing this for the rest of their lives about everything else?
Exactly.
It's not like Marvel movies have been perfect. Do you see me crying about an Iron Man 2 cut? Come on.
And it's like this mentality where it was owed to them.
Yes.
Yeah, that thing right there is just what gets me. Like the fact that when the news broke, it's like the Snyder Cut will be released. I'm like, no, don't give them what they want. But
and look, I don't want to shit on Zack Snyder. I really don't.
No.
No. But I have a really big problem and have had a problem with the years of how he has specifically fed that base.
Yes.
I mean, this hasn't been an act of him like saying what could have been, I wish, very publicly saying if circumstances had been different, what I wish had happened. He did it in a very sleazy kind of, hey, let me feed that little fire.
Like, here's a picture of Darkseid. Hey, don't you wish you would have saw this, huh?
Yeah. Feed this beast that's saying you were robbed, and I'm saying you were right.
Yeah.
You were robbed. Rather than saying, how unfortunate, I don't condone the bullying. He fed it. And that's something that I really wish hadn't happened, and I wish that when this had happened, it had been a thing. We're doing this because we feel like Zack Snyder suffered a tragedy, and we would like to give him the opportunity to put out the film he wanted to, because of the things he's had to suffer through because of this.
Yes.
Rather than because of what you, the fans, did.
So it's not even the movie that they wanted, that they thought they were robbed of, because it's going to be a different film. It has to be. It's not done.
Yeah.
So the movie that they've been claiming is ready to go, the 4-hour assembly cut that is supposedly ready to be released at any minute by his own volition, is not going to be the movie they get. And because of that, it is not going to be something that they are going to be happy with.
See, here's where I think I disagree. I think because they've been clamoring for it for 2.5 years, they are going to be happy with it no matter what. Because if it's bad, they've wasted their life.
Can't possibly admit
they cannot admit they're wrong, Brandon. And no matter what, I don't think this can turn. I think this is going to be a fun experiment. I cannot possibly see it being good. It's going to be cool to watch, sure, just to see how a movie can be a different movie. Is this going to be a good movie? I do not think so. The entire Snyder Cut fan base is going to believe it is 110%. I do not believe.
Yeah, the like
don't
cult,
believe it.
The cult at the heart of it that we're talking about, the bad side of it.
Yeah,
they're going to say it's great no matter what it is.
There are regular people who want the Snyder Cut who are going to be disappointed, but that hardcore
It's just that I feel like you build something up so much in your mind, there's no way it can be satisfactory when you finally see it.
Yes, the difference is like something like Endgame, where it's a manufactured thing. Like they're getting the version that they want, right? So they got their bad Endgame. Now they're getting their Endgame. So they won no matter what. Even if it's bad, they still won.
Do you remember when you saw Star Trek Into Darkness the first time? Do you remember that?
What are you talking about, Sparks?
I was there. I could be a witness.
Do you remember liking it? You too, Ben.
Yes.
You too.
Oh, no.
You liked it too. Do you remember that?
Did.
Do you remember liking it and then defending it for a while before you went back and went, oh my God, that was bad? That's going to be that on a much longer scale for the people who think it is bad, but they've committed.
Yeah, I saw the Wookiee. Yeah.
Solo Wookiee.
Yeah.
So it's going to be that on a much longer scale. It's going to be, I can't admit I was wrong about this thing I've been passionate about for 2.5 years, so it must be great.
Yeah, it's going to be like in 10 years, like when we actually do get like a Justice League 2, and then everyone's going to be like, hey, maybe the Snyder Cut isn't so good.
Yeah.
And so it also raises, we brought up a question about this a long time ago. It also raises a question of canonicity, which I understand is not a big deal with Warner Brothers right now. But that version, that Zack Snyder vision is never going to continue. It's not going to magically change everything afterwards.
Can I? Yeah. I think that's actually fairly simple with the way that Warner Brothers has been moving forward. Aquaman lightly mentions Steppenwolf, and you can just have other movies in the future mention different versions of the events in passing. So it's like, oh, I thought it was this, and it's like, oh no, it was that story, and it doesn't matter, and it's just in the past.
I also think in Justice League in a couple of years is going to be so inconsequential they're never going to have to mention it.
Yeah,
honestly, because Steppenwolf is your big deal. Aquaman says his name once, and then you never think about Justice League ever again. Like I think this is going to be a director's cut. I don't think we need to worry about canon because Justice League is still going to be canon. This is just like a weird director's cut.
I have been very happy with the direction of Warner Brothers films lately. I really like Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman and Aquaman. Shazam. And I like those movies a whole lot. And I don't want to see this change the direction back to a direction I was not happy with when it came to Man of Steel and Batman v Superman.
It's not. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, I don't think that'll
This is to satisfy a small group of fans so they can finally shut up. I think the direction is safe.
I don't think this is, let's bring Zack Snyder back in and have him. I don't think that's it.
If this was, in fact, to shut them up, they have failed.
Yeah. That's the thing. You can never shut them up.
Exactly. People like the hardcore, like the super hardcore Snyder Cut fans, they will never shut up. They will literally pick one thing and they'll go after that and they will continue. People like this they love to hear themselves talk. It ticks me off.
Real quickly, Solo Wookie says, here's the skinny in my take, not that it really matters, Abyss. Incredible movie. Yeah. Then watch the director's cut, completely makes the movie an epic.
Yeah, no, director's cuts absolutely can make movies better. Like my biggest example is Kingdom of Heaven, a Ridley Scott movie. That movie is totally serviceable, but that 3.5 hour director's cut it's a completely different movie. It makes it a truly historical epic instead of just a bad action movie. That director's cut is sensational. That's not what we're getting with Justice League. No way. Don't believe it.
There are plenty of director's cuts that look at Blade Runner, the final cut.
Yeah, final cut Blade Runner.
Daredevil gets saved because of the director's cut.
There's nobody was bullying people for those movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
I would say one more positive thing. There are a lot of people who have started charities who have, in the name of the Snyder Cut, help with like suicide prevention, suicide awareness. So again, that side of the Snyder Cut, I'm very happy about. They've raised so much awareness and that kind of thing. So there is a lot of positive stuff coming from this. It's just unfortunate that the outcry is from the negative loudmouths. Yeah, unfortunately, but
or like the cyberbullying that now has continued into We Won.
Yes, let's go attack Joss Whedon.
Let's go like hurt the people who were saying that the Zack Snyder cut was stupid, or bad, or that it didn't need to exist.
Go to Joss Whedon's Twitter; it's disgusting right now.
remember when I told you about the Jeff Johns Q&A on DC Universe, and all of the comments were just like, well, why don't we ask that snake why he decided to destroy the DCE? Why don't we ask that snake why he killed Zack Snyder's daughter? Like all shit like that. Like, what is happening? You want Warner Brothers? You want to appease those people?
Yeah, it's weird.
And again, like it could have been resolved. Like there's a way to treat the fans who deserve this while disavowing the ones who don't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What it would require,
Solo Wookie, just like Batman v Superman.
What it would require is for them to have in the statement of it said, again, this is to give Zack Snyder this opportunity. This is not to appease the fans who bullied. It would have had to have been a public statement saying, this is not because you were harassing everyone. This is because we felt like Zack Snyder deserved to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Every DC affiliated account had released the Snyder Cut wins, all that sort of thing. And that was ridiculous.
Yeah. At the end of the day, there's a small group of people that I'm very happy for that are getting the finale to a thing that they never got. And I really, as like a big nerd, like it's like not getting the last issue of a comic event. Like that's heartbreaking. Like I really get it.
I so badly wish that there was a version of Rise of Skywalker that was going to come out that would fix everything.
Whose cut would that be? Because it's not the Abrams cut. Is it the
Ryan Johnson cut?
Did you see people were talking about like, okay, Disney now release the Abrams,
the Trevorrow cut? Thank you.
Oh,
people were saying,
yeah.
People were saying, okay, Disney now release the J.J. Abrams cut. It's like, buddy, you saw it.
Yeah,
that's the one in theaters.
You got the fan service you wanted.
That's what happened.
You got the Snyder cut. That
was the J.J. Abrams cut of Rise of Skywalker.
It literally says
sit in it.
Man,
I would love to see the Trevorrow cut of Rise of Skywalker.
Read the script.
I saw somewhere.
Go ahead, Ben.
No, I was gonna say the Trevorrow, one of the because I saw a bunch of concept art for what Episode 9 could have been, and one of them was called Episode 9: The Duel of the Fates, and I'm like, that's such a better title.
They're making real quickly. They're making an audio podcast, fully scripted, fully acted, and things of the Trevorrow cut of Star Wars.
I'm listening to that. To that.
For those of you who are not satisfied with the rest,
just turn that into an animated thing on YouTube, then.
But as much as I would like that, I wouldn't want it I wouldn't want to be rewarded for bullying. You get,
but that's the thing.
No, but you get what I'm saying. Like as badly as I would like that to exist, I don't know that it warrants going back and altering these kind of changes just because fans are unhappy.
Yeah. Yes. Again, this goes back to 2012, the first time this ever happened in video games with Mass Effect 3. That is a universally hated ending. And then BioWare, like 3 months later, put out a patch that fixed the ending. It didn't fix the ending. It actually made it worse. Because they tried to satisfy a small group of fans who were outliers or criers about it, and then they doubled down on some decisions, and they made the fans who were okay with it, they made them unhappy. So you really can't win no matter what when you do this kind of thing. You just have to accept.
Which is why you accept it and move on.
Yes, that's why. There's a great quote. Like, art is never finished; it's just put out. It's true about all art. Like, sometimes you just gotta know when it's done. But we live in the modern era where we are all editors at heart, and we can edit at a moment's notice, and that sucks. Technology has ruined us.
Fans are not owed anything.
Nope.
No.
Right.
Like you are not entitled to anything.
People are burning.
What you get is a gift to begin with and accept it.
People are destroying their Justice League DVDs and like sending videos to like Joss Whedon and stuff. I'm like, they got your money already. I don't know what you're trying to prove.
God, do you know how much that pisses me off when people decide to do shit like that?
Like with 19,
It's like when Ethan Van Sciver ripped open the head of Rose Tycho. It's like, you already bought that toy.
Yeah.
They got the money.
Oh God!
Real quickly, Solo Wookiee. In all fairness, the fans helped ruin the last Star Wars movies more than any character or director.
Star Wars fans are also not great.
Yeah.
But that's where we go. That's where we come back to Star Wars. Fans aren't owed.
Yeah.
No, they're not owed jack shit.
I think, like Sparks says, we accept that gift or we don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gift.
Okay, let's move on.
That was a nice discourse. I'm glad.
I can't wait until we have the podcast episode next year where we talk about it.
I'm actually, like, for real, now that it's really happening, I am jazzed to see it, because I'm just what is it gonna be? Really, what are you gonna be?
Brandon, I'm telling you right now, please just don't share your opinions about it on Twitter. It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
It's just not.
I posted two things about it. I was like, no, I'm done.
No. I'm talking when it comes out and we watch it. Just don't engage.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
all right. So some comic book news.
Ooh.
Some new books are being put out by mostly Boom. So we're going to talk about Boom Studios for a bit. They're putting out a book called Wind, W-Y-N-D. This is written by James Tynion IV, with art by Michael Dialynas. Sorry. It's originally supposed to be a trilogy of graphic novels, but now going to be a 12-issue maxi series put up by Boom Studios. But they're going to be large, so they're going to be 40 pages each.
Nice.
Wind centers around Wind, the character's name, a young boy from Pipe Town who must keep his true identity as well as his pointed ears a secret. As he inhabits a world in which magical heritage is punishable by death, however, when this facade is compromised, Wind is forced on a quest that places him smack in the middle of a royal conspiracy.
Cool.
That sounds cool. I think that looks interesting.
I don't know why immediately. There was a book club. Was it called Feathers?
Yeah.
Always had like hide his identity because he's a bird boy or whatever.
Yeah.
I just got like for some reason it reminded me of that. Like, oh, I have to hide my identity while being involved in stuff. I'm interested in that.
Yeah. 7 Secrets. Tom Taylor has been teasing this for a couple days, for a couple weeks. Tom Taylor is writing it with Danielle D. Nicuolo. Sorry. And it's going to be an ongoing series from Boom Studios. This one is, for centuries, the Order has trusted in keepers and holders to guard the secrets in 7 briefcases against all harm. But when their stronghold is attacked and the secrets put in peril, the entire Order must face their greatest fear, an enemy who knows too much and is willing to kill to get what he wants. Now the Order's newest member, Caspar, must discover the truth of the secret before the enemy does, or risk losing everything.
That sounds like a bunch of comics I've read before, but let's see what it looks like.
Tom Taylor's a pretty good writer, though, so I interested. Hopefully, this comes out in August, though we don't know what the comic book industry is going to be like. So,
yeah.
This one is a small little thing. I don't know if you guys are really into this one, but Mega Man.
Never heard of it.
Do you mean Rockman?
Mega Man Fully Charged is being put up by Boom Studios. This is written by the writers of the original show, Mega Man Fully Charged, AJ Marchicello and Marcus Reinhardt, with art by Stefano Simeon. I don't know.
I'm looking at the name. I'm looking at the name too. I don't know. I'm with you on that one.
This is a 6-issue miniseries from Boom Studios. After Mega Man's father, Dr. Light, is kidnapped, a shocking truth rocks Mega Man's world, as it seems the robot masters know more about his secret history than he does. But as Dr. Wily's machinations trigger Mega Man's forgotten memories of the brutal human-robot war, our hero is left to question just who he is and if he can trust anything or anyone, including the man he calls father.
That is interesting.
Have you guys seen this original show? Either you or Sparks?
I've watched a few. I only watched like the first episode. It was at Comic-Con, and then I finished it when I went to Sparks' house one day. I haven't watched anything else, but I do know that they were trying to turn things different. Like, obviously, Mega Man is a secret identity. Not everyone knows who Mega Man is. The thing about the whole robot war was that there might be a robot war, but that's later on in the video games, and that the creators were trying to cherry pick aspects from Mega Man game series to put into the show. So, because one big thing is that Mega Man and Mega Man X were both created by Dr. Light, hands down, no questions asked. But the fact that Mega Man might have existed before is interesting.
What's a twist?
Yeah, it is. Obviously, this has to deal with the show, and because when we first get into the show, Dr. Wily he's not a doctor. He's not a doctor yet. He's a kid, and he's Mega Man's best friend.
That's weird.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I'm not caught up on the show, so to see how this correlates to the show and how the show essentially changes the quote unquote mythos of Mega Man is interesting.
Are you about to tell me that everything that we thought we knew was wrong?
No.
The trope returns.
It's a parallel universe, Ryan.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
Yep, parallel universe.
Got it.
All right. We're all fans of Deceased.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a new digital first series coming out called Deceased: Hope at World's End. This was surprise launched this past week, sorry. This is written by Tom Taylor, of course, with art by Dustin Nguyen, Renato Guedes, Carmine Di Giandomenico, and Marco Fela. A lot of names. This is following Superman, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, Stephanie Brown, Wally West, Jimmy Olsen, and more. And it takes place between the time jump between 5 and 6.
Yeah.
So this was actually a story that was originally in the miniseries, but they had to cut it because of page count. So they're putting it out as a digital first. So it's going to be, kind of how they rounded up all the survivors to the Fortress of Solitude, or in Gotham, or in Paradise Island before they escaped Earth, and before Martian Manhunter. Remember Martian Manhunter shows up in the last issue and brutally.
Yes.
This is going to be published digitally for twice a month. It will run for a total of 14 chapters, which probably correlates to about 2 or 3 issues.
that's like the Injustice model. He's just going back to his old digital model. I like it.
Yeah, this will be published in print afterwards.
I was about to ask that. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a digital first series, which means print after.
I guess I'm shocked that DC is doing so well, because there's like 3 or 4 things spinning off of that original series. Yeah. Like we're getting the sequel, and then there's like Unkillable, which is like
Unkillable just ended.
Yeah.
And then this started, and then DC's 2, Dead Planet, is coming out soon.
That's a lot of DC stuff.
This is hitting the popularity that Marvel Zombies once had.
Yes, and that was really popular. I'm just glad that it's connecting, because it just like Injustice, like this is a awesome alternate universe that happens to be horror centric. Yeah. I'm glad people like it.
Me too. I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Then there's a new book coming out by Dylan Sprouse, the actor, Jughead himself.
Oh,
what? Dylan, what you doing? Cody of Zack and Cody.
Yep. Sorry.
I don't know. That sounds pretty sweet to me.
He is working with Heavy Metal, the magazine Heavy Metal, to put out this new comic book, Sun Eater. This is written by him and Joe Harris, with art by Diego Yapur. It's going to be a 9-issue series from Heavy Metal. Set in 9th century Norway, Sun Eater follows Veldulf, drug-addled warrior who, after sacrificing his leg to the gods, is fused with a parasitic beast, giving him the power to rescue his son from history's first Norwegian king and his quintet of personal guards. This grim and bloody adventure is described as a dark metaphor for drug addiction, selfishness, and the children it affects.
This sounds awesome.
Yeah.
It does.
Dylan Sprouse, what are you doing?
This sounds much better than when J.J. Abrams' son was writing Spider-Man. Just speaking on like famous celebrity writing comics, like
that comic's still not even out yet. It's still not done. God.
Yeah, I think this sounds really cool.
Norse mythology has been getting a lot of play in a lot of places ever since God of War came out.
Yeah,
I'm actually for it.
You said this is like being published by Heavy Metal?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's wicked. That is so cool.
This sounds like a Heavy Metal book.
Yeah, I'm really stoked.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so this is we're out of the comic book section. We're going to talk about Sony's universe of Marvel heroes.
Yes, the best news of the week. Oh, I can't wait to talk about this.
As we all know, that is Sony's designation for their films.
Wait, what's the Sony's? What does it say it again?
SUMC.
So it's the SUMC.
Yeah, Sony's universe of Marvel heroes.
It's the SUMC.
Marvel characters. Sorry. So they're working on a female-centric spider character film. That's all we know. S.J. Clarkson, who wrote Jessica Jones, and she worked on The Defenders. She is working on this film, the script. It's believed that this is the Madam Web movie that was announced a couple months ago.
It's funny because in like whatever article you have, they have a director. They don't have a script or an actor yet, but they hired the director. So I'm like, wow, they're really far ahead on this one. Hold
on. Solo Wookiee Tarna is my future wife. Who's Tarna?
What were we just talking about? Who starts with a T?
Sorry, explain this one, Solo Wookiee. I'm sorry.
Is that Jughead? Is that his real name, Tarna?
Oh, maybe. I haven't seen Riverdale in a while. Okay, so this is believed to be a Madam Web series. Then our good friend Mark Guggenheim,
the Googs,
has been tapped to write a movie called Jackpot.
Main character.
Tarna's a Spider-Man character. Wow. Yeah. Oh, she's a Clintar. Oh, she's from that's the Venom. That's Venom stuff. Yeah. Clintar.
Oh, is that Madam Web?
I don't know.
Is that Madam Web?
No.
It's not Madam Web. It's an alien. It's a space lady.
When did we talk about this person?
We didn't. I think that's just a character.
I think it's that it can be a female Marvel character.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So Mark Guggenheim is writing Jackpot. If you don't know who this character is, that's fine. I don't either. But apparently Mark Guggenheim wrote a miniseries called Amazing Spider-Man Presents Jackpot.
Yeah. So let me tell you about it real quick, because this is the very beginning of Dan Slott's run back when he was still good at writing Spider-Man. Jackpot is a superhero that looks and sounds and talks exactly like Mary Jane Watson. For a year, people thought Jackpot was Mary Jane. Her name is Jackpot. She uses the terms Mary Jane used. She calls people tiger. Her name is Jackpot. You face a tiger, you hit the jackpot. For a year, it was teased that Mary Jane was a secret hero. Spoilers, it's not Mary Jane. Nobody cares. That it was a year of build up for no real reason. Jackpot is a unessential Spider-Man character, the most unessential Spider-Man character. The reason how she's getting a movie is beyond me, because I haven't even introduced Mary Jane yet to introduce a thing of a fake Mary Jane. So this is a worse idea than Silk or Madam Web or any of these, I think. This is the worst of all the ideas that they've done. I'd rather watch an Aunt May movie.
What if they did Alpha?
Alpha would make more sense, because you can introduce them and then maybe be Spider-Man's sidekick.
We were all wrong. She's the Terraclin that takes down the ultimate ball of evil in the Heavy Metal movie.
Heavy Metal. Got it. Okay. Oh, I even watched that movie for the Bored and Annoyed thing.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
I saw clips of it and I never watched it again.
Good pull, Solo Wookie. You're a real metal man.
Okay. Anyway, those are, I'm sure, happening eventually.
So it's just funny because, the Googs wrote this like 15 years ago, and they're just getting him to write the script for it now. And it's like, what are they doing over there? Like, really, what are they doing?
They don't know.
Like, they're worse than Warner Brothers now.
Mark Guggenheim. That sounds like such a terrible story.
I know. Maybe it'll be great. Who knows? Okay.
I have no faith in any Sony Marvel movies that aren't Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Fair.
Right now, yeah.
Okay. Mission Impossible 7 and 8 had some more casting news. It appears that Nicholas Hoult is out because of scheduling conflicts due to the coronavirus pushing back the shooting of this movie. He had to bow out. And Esai Morales, who plays Deathstroke on Titans, is in fact in as the villain for Mission Impossible 7 and 8.
This is really cool.
This is a really good choice. That dude has such a presence, like a presence of like he can be speaking very calmly, but like he can still kick your ass like any second. He's definitely more intimidating than Nicholas Hoult. So it makes me think that are they playing the same character, because they're very different looking and like physical and stuff. Like that dude's very like big, and Nicholas Holt's kind of like a skinny dude. So I'm like, I wonder if they're changing the story or if they're just playing the same character, because that's very interesting.
They might be changing the story.
Guys, remind me, Nicholas Hoult, he's the guy who plays Beast in the new X-Men movie, right? And he's also in The Great, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I know who he is. All right.
Have you watched The Great yet, Brian?
Not yet.
We'll start next week, hopefully.
But yeah, I was really interested to see Nicholas Hoult as a villain. But this is cool. Can't wait for more Mission Impossible.
I'm just glad that guy, because I'm not super familiar with his work, but he was he's Deathstroke on TV, so that means he's getting elevated to do like big movie stuff. So that's good for him.
Yeah.
Since everything's on quarantine, I'm pretty sure I know you do. I need to go and borrow all the Mission Impossible movies after 3 because I haven't seen a single one of them.
They're all good.
I
know, which was why I need to borrow them so I can watch them all.
Sparks, do you own them?
All but 2.
So yes, he owns all
and 2 and 3 are the only ones I've ever seen.
That's good.
3's good. Okay.
Yeah, I like
Greyhound. So Greyhound, we were all interested in this film. Tom Hanks' new film, Greyhound, is a submarine film. Looked really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
It's no longer going to debut in theaters. It is the latest one to change to a VOD release. It's going to actually debut on Apple TV Plus.
This is weird.
Oh man, Tom.
No.
I wanted to see it. And now I won't.
Damn it all. That movie looked good. It looked really good. I'm really bummed about this.
So this is going to debut. So this is going to debut on Apple TV Plus. Sony apparently sold the movie to Apple for $70 million, already really making back their money.
God damn.
That movie couldn't have cost that much money. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, good for him.
It's a good pick it's a good pull for Apple. It's a major Tom Hanks film. I really wanted to see it though. I'm kind of bummed I won't get to.
Is it? Are there that many people that are going to go, man, I really need to see that Tom Hanks submarine movie on Apple TV right now?
I mean, I like Tom Hanks.
Right now. No, not what I'm saying. I'm saying that justifies buying a service.
Maybe not.
No.
I wanted to see it though, so I'm bummed about this.
Phone, so
we're gonna watch all of that shit. Like, oh boy.
Yeah, so that's too bad for me.
Oh. That means we can watch the Dune show when it comes out.
That's on HBO Max because that's Warner Brothers.
I thought that was it. We're watching it anyway. Who cares? Super duper. Woo! That was Apple. Cool.
Who cares about Apple TV Plus, really? Okay.
Not me.
So Edgar Wright, Nira Park, Joe Cornish, and Rachel Pryor have teamed up to make a new production company called Complete Fiction. They have already started working on 4 potential projects for Netflix, plus another project for a studio that they have not divulged yet. They have only divulged 3 of the Netflix projects that they are working on. They are Lockwood and Co., which is a supernatural action-adventure detective series based on the novels by Jonathan Stroud. This will be helmed by Joe Cornish himself. The Murders of Molly Southbourne, a sci-fi horror trilogy from novelist Tade Thompson, and The City of Brass, as it's translated in America, but it's actually called the Daevabad Trilogy, which I'm pretty sure I butchered. It's a historical fantasy series inspired by Islamic folklore from author S.A. Chakraborty. Sorry. I think all 3 of these sound awesome.
The Murders of Molly kind of sounds a little like Moyer McTaggart, if you ask me. Multiple murders happening, figuring out your crimes. There's a bunch of books that also do that. I think that's basically.
I perked up when you said City of Brass because in Critical Role, in the first campaign they did, the group Vox Machina actually goes to a place called the City of Brass on the Fire Plane, and it's actually a really cool caper that they have to do. They like make some deals and stuff. So I'm like, wait, are they actually doing something from that thing from Critical Role, Dungeons and Dragons? No, totally different. Totally different.
This is Edgar Wright. He's a great creative force. We all love him. So it's really cool to see him doing this sort of things. And I think all 3 of these projects look really interesting, and I'm really interested in where these can go.
Heck yeah, same.
Yeah.
Okay, trailers.
Actually, well, if I may interject, I just want to acknowledge something real quick.
Do it.
I mean, obviously, the reason why I'm wearing this is because on Friday, it was Pac-Man's 40th anniversary.
Yes.
The arcade came out on May 22nd in 1980, and ever since, currently, as I was doing a little bit of like fun facts to look up, it's the most popular and longest-running coin-operated video game cabinet in existence.
Ben, may I? A much bigger anniversary happened this week. It is the anniversary of the debut of the Dark Universe. 3 years, Ben.
Hold on, I'm going to check.
20 years, 3 years.
I'm going to channel Tom Cruise in that airplane with none of the special effects, just him screaming, okay?
It's the
cultural icon that has survived the test of time for over
cultural icon Tom Cruise.
Oh,
It's the debut of that picture that they all took with Johnny Depp and Javier Bardem and Sophia Boutella.
Yeah.
You forget the classic line, Jenny, run!
I kind of want to watch that movie again.
I just want to play Pac-Man.
Don't do that, Brandon.
Anyways, I just want to acknowledge Pac-Man's 40th anniversary was on Friday. I mean, yeah, I'm hoping for 40 more years. Whenever a video game like that, especially a classic coin-operated game that has survived ever since the 80s to today, that's still being played all around the world. People are still buying cabinets. They're still wanting to restore cabinets. Just for me, it makes me happy because it means that the game will live on forever and all of its iterations, both the good and the bad. So happy 40th to Pac-Man, buddy. Waka waka.
Happy 40th. Yeah. Okay, so some trailers. We got some trailers real quick. Let's start with We Bare Bears, the movie.
Yeah, so nobody needed to watch this trailer per se.
But I did.
Yeah, but I told you didn't need to because you have no familiarity with We Bare Bears, correct?
No.
Okay, yeah, this means nothing. But this is the latest cartoon from Cartoon Network to get a film, an animated film, which they seem to be doing with an increasing regularity. Adventure Time had it happen, Regular Show had it happen, Steven Universe, Teen Titans Go went straight to theaters for it. But now here we are. We Bare Bears is also getting a film, and I'm super happy for them. And I just wanted to touch note on the fact that was announced.
We Bare Bears.
Oh no, there's songs for the Dark Universe. Trust me.
It's called The Sound of Silence. Hello, darkness, my old friend. But actually,
this looks charming. I did watch it. I've been interested in this cartoon for a while because I love bears.
We Bare Bears is a really nice, easygoing cartoon. It's the loosest, I'd say, as far as canon amongst the Cartoon Network shows, but all Cartoon Network shows at this point treat everything as sequential. So the Bears grow more notorious in what clearly is San Francisco for their antics, and that backfires on them. And they think about moving to Canada, and this movie looks good. I really like it.
I'm actually familiar with We Bare Bears. I've seen a few episodes. Fanny loves the show, and this movie does look like a longer version of a episode, and I'm actually excited.
Bears.
Ice Bear is my favorite. I love Ice Bear.
I'm not surprised at all that Ice Bear is here. Actually, I'm a little surprised. I could see you being a Pan fan.
Actually, I just like Ice Bear's dry wit the most, because especially like in the trailer when Ice Bear goes like, "Ice Bear, ride or die. Ice Bear is here to party."
Yes.
Just like the way the voice actor delivers those lines for Ice Bear, to me, it just makes me. I'm like, I like that guy. He's funny.
Okay.
What was that, Ryan?
You put on the list before we started a movie called Gundala.
Yes, this is an Indonesian film based off a comic book that is being adapted, which I think is just really cool, and it doesn't look bad.
No,
it looks really engaging. I was interested in this.
Yeah, it's a mix of martial arts and superpowers.
Yeah, Indonesia. That's where movies like The Raid come from. So like the martial arts is going to be very good. It's super cool because you don't often see superhero martial arts movies.
Right.
They're very different kind of like movies because you have people throwing lightning. They don't often also are doing martial arts. Unless it's Mortal Kombat. So I'm actually very, very interested. It looks like the budget's high enough where they can get away with stuff. Like the costume looks a little whatever, but like the action itself looks pretty good. It's got a cool story about like revolution, taking down the man.
Yes.
It looks really cool. Where's it coming to? Netflix? Did it say?
I did not.
Okay.
I'm not sure it has an American release yet.
It does. I don't think it has an American release yet.
Gotcha.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Netflix picks it up.
Yeah, I'm interested in it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then I put this one on. I thought this would be fun to talk about. You Don't Know Me, NOMI.
I love this. I'm so happy you put this on here because I didn't think anyone was gonna.
This is the documentary about the cultural impact of the notorious film Showgirls.
So yeah, Paul Verhoeven, who directed Starship Troopers and RoboCop, made one of the worst movies of all time. Arguably one of the best movies of all time because it's like The Room, where you just can't believe what's on screen right now. It's if you watch the trailer for this documentary, you've seen some of the clips. It's truly an outlandish movie. Have
you seen the cut? Have you seen the cut without any music?
I could not imagine.
There's a cut of Showgirls, and I've seen Showgirls. Just real quickly, I have seen this movie. There's a cut. I mean, depending on your point of view, there is a cut of this movie that takes away the music, and it's just sound effects.
That's got to be
and dialogue.
Horrible, like
unbearable.
It makes me uncomfortable thinking about it because without music, everything's already worse.
It's weird.
So this is.
Oh man,
this is. Showgirls stars one of the main.
I was gonna say this reminds me. It's like a
Showgirls.
There's a delay between you guys.
Yeah, there was a delay.
Ben, just talk.
Okay, this reminds me of a reverse not Rise of Skywalker, Last Jedi score only film. Because I've seen the film Last Jedi, just the score, no dialogue, no sound effects, just the music, and it was beautiful. It was great. But doing the reverse of that with no music and just sound effects and dialogue hurts my soul.
Also with a bad movie.
So this is the movie that stars one of the main actresses from Saved by the Bell. She wanted to break out of her Saved by the Bell typecast, and she gets full on topless, full on nude. It is quite the movie, and and people who filmed it weren't sure if they were making a good or a bad movie while they were filming it.
Yeah, Paul Verhoeven is like, if you've seen a documentary, Showgirls is as sexy as Starship Troopers is violent, and his thing is like sex and violence go hand in hand. Like America is shy about sex, so I'm gonna shove it in their face. You should have made a good movie first, because like we accept sexuality when it's good, but when you have a really terrible sex scene under a waterfall with Kyle MacLachlan, you gotta rethink your step, brother.
What a movie! I'm interested in this documentary. I'd like to see this.
I only know the movie by its notoriety. I mean, people talk about Showgirls, and then they're like, "Oh, this movie's so bad. It's awful. It's like Trolls 2 level of horrible."
Bigger budget than Trolls 2.
Yeah, bigger budget than Trolls 2. There you go.
Big stars. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I know how bad this movie is, but at the same time, I want to see it for myself.
Yeah,
it's like The Room. Yeah, it's worth watching for fun.
Yeah, because I've never seen The Room either, and people tell me how bad it is, and other people say, "Oh my god, it's a cinema masterpiece." I'm like,
oh, we're making Ben watch The Room.
Hell yeah, I could watch The Room all day, every day.
Once this quarantine is over, and able to finally come back to your house to watch movies, we're watching The Room.
Good.
I think I'm going to actually switch the order of these real quick. Let's go to Space Force. There was a Space Force trailer because the show is debuting this coming weekend. I thought this trailer was pretty good. Not as good as the first one.
It was longer.
But it was longer. You're right. Showgirls is no heavy metal.
It was true.
But I can't say that for sure. This kind of dives more into. I really like the idea behind it, which is just Steve Carell is like, we have to make this, and I really like Steve Carell being the straight man to the government.
Yes,
as the funny people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think that's a really funny dynamic I've not seen before, and we got a little bit more of John Malkovich, which I liked.
Yeah, I like his like he's like the smart guy, like helping him out, like correcting him every mistake he makes, and like the dynamic looks really cool. The cast is great. I'm definitely very excited to watch the show. Actually,
Benjamin Schwartz is in it.
I don't think the trailer is as good, but like now I kind of have a better understanding of how the show is going to flow. I think it looks pretty good.
I think the start is hilarious when he just launches the rock. Is like, oh god,
how many times can I apologize?
Now, this show, it looks hilarious. I mean, to see Steve Carell back doing a show like this, I'm like, I'm for it. I'm down to watch this.
Yeah. So next trailer, Sparks. Did you want to say anything about Space Force?
It looks good. I don't have any different opinions than last time we talked about it at this moment.
Yeah.
Then we'll go to The Last Days of American Crime. This is based off the graphic novel of the same name. Netflix.
By who? By who, Brandon? By who?
Is this Greg Rucka?
No, it's Rick Remender, baby.
Same person.
It's my boy. No, that's Mark Wade. Don't mix them up.
You're right. I'm sorry. Now I got three of them.
It's Warren Ellis.
Oh, no. So The Last Days of American Crime, this is one of the graphic novels that I have not read by Rick Remender. This is an original graphic novel. It's slightly sci-fi where obviously crime's illegal, but there's a device that just stops crime from happening. So this is the last heist, like the last traditional heist in American history, technically.
Before they launched the thing that's going to stop crime.
The Minority Report, stop crimes before they happen type of thing. I think this is a fascinating concept. Rick Remender is really good about doing this type of gritty realism with sci-fi tropes. You guys have read a bunch of his books. I love the cast. I think this looks really cool. I love that it's just sci-fi enough, but being completely realistic. The main guy, I forget his name, but he's a really talented French dude, and I really like him a lot. He has a lot of presence. His face is really intense. I'm very excited for this. And my boy Rick Remender is getting more movies made, more TVs made. Just like all the money for you, Rick. I love you.
Yeah, on out.
No, when I saw this trailer, I was instantly like, "Wow, they stopped crime." But this is because I think the Italian Job got me into this because I really like movies where they're bad guys and they're stealing, but at the same time, it's like we want to do stuff, and this is how we're going to do it.
May I just say that the title's good, but how is it not called Crime Stoppers?
Because they already call a movie called Time Stoppers, and it's too close.
Know, that's why it should be Crime Stoppers.
But they're not the ones stopping the crime.
It's the last days of American crime. That makes much
more. And it's a heist. It's not like it's not the Purge where they're like, let's go murder people. It's like, we're going to steal $30 million.
We're going to
be rich.
I wonder if they ever made. Oh, do you think they made that fifth Purge movie, or did they just have a release date and forgot to make it?
No, it's made. It's made. It was supposed to come out this year.
I know.
They make those movies for cheap like that. Like they get announced by the time they're already.
If they can make Jumanji in the amount of time that they made Jumanji 2, then I'm sure they can make a fifth Purge.
I know Purge 5 was supposed to come out in July, but I could not find any confirmation that they had actually started filming.
I believe it. I think it's just done and waiting because those movies take like 7 days to make.
Okay. So let's go to the Greg Rucka one, The Old Guard. This is the.
Now I see why you got him confused. Okay.
Yes.
Comic book adaptations. Okay.
So this is the comic book adaptation of the same name. This one is written by Greg Rucka, and this has Charlize Theron. This looks really good. I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, dude. Immortals, taking care of the world, like Templars, like old school Templars, like living throughout time. Like they didn't go into some of that stuff, but like I love this premise all the time. Soldiers.
I think we should read the comic with the movie. I think that'd be fun.
I'm always a fan of doing that. Yeah.
Same with Yeah, same with the Last Days of American Crime. I'm down to read that book.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be fun.
I know this guy's gonna be happy because he's like, yeah, make Ben read more Recommender.
Personally, I was more into the old guard. If we're comparing the two, which I don't think we should, but if we are, I was more into the old guard. I think that looked much more fascinating, and I was really engaged in what I saw.
I mean, it's definitely more fantastical, so it's going to be inherently more interesting. I definitely like both these look like fun adaptations of their source material. I really like Charlize Theron as an action star, like since Atomic Blonde. Atomic Blonde?
Yeah, Atomic Blonde. Yeah.
Blonde, and Fast and Furious and like Mad Max. Yeah. She's super duper. So just give her more action stuff, please. Oh yeah.
Wasn't she Aeon Flux, or am I misremembering?
She was an Aeon Flux. But we
don't talk about Aeon Flux.
Yeah, no.
Okay, we don't talk about Aeon Flux.
We don't talk about that or Ultraviolet.
Oh, go away. Ooh, that movie is so bad.
Oh, God.
What was the one where the dude was like such a germaphobe that he had like filters on his nose and he opened up a bag with a sanitized gun? Was that
Ultraviolet?
Ben, I never watched either of those movies, so I couldn't tell you.
I just saw a clip from one. I thought it was cool. Then I changed the channel.
Antebellum.
Oh, Antebellum.
I don't know what this movie is, but
I don't know what this movie is either.
There is a new trailer for Antebellum. We get a little bit more of a sense of what's happening here. It looks like these people get chosen and then sent to this thing or whatever.
Okay, so is it all right? So we're gonna try to break it down. The 3 minutes of single 1 minute trailers. Are the people being sent back in time as a punishment, or are they being sent back in time to save slavery? Because I thought it looks like she's being punished by being sent back.
So what I think it is, and this could be wrong. We all could be wrong.
Yes, nobody knows.
I think they are chosen to be punished, but it's not going back in time. I think it's a simulation.
Okay.
And that's why they're going to disrupt the simulation by starting the rise up to try to escape.
Why would there be a slave? Ooh, this is a whole different facet I wasn't even thinking about technology.
I didn't think it was time travel either because of the simulation stuff with like the plane.
The plane
fields, yeah.
But I do think it's a punishment.
I thought it was time travel. And this one person's like living different. It was kind of like an Assassin's Creed sort of thing, where it's like, here's your ancestors. You're waking up in your ancestor's body, and you get to choose what you could do this. If you wake up,
I like that too. Yeah.
The only thing I just don't think it's pure time travel because like there's clearly some weird like rift stuff, which is either dimensional or it's simulation.
There's like glitching.
Because she sees the glitching of the plane, or she sees the little girl in the elevator that like makes no sense.
Okay, so there's so I don't know what antebellum meant. So it actually is a real word that means something. It just means before the war. So the movie is dealing with before the start of the Civil War. So maybe they're trying to simulate a way to stop the Civil War from happening, or something.
I don't know.
I don't know, but I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, it looks like a wacky sci-fi.
I've never not known more about the movie.
Yeah,
it's also from the producers of Us and Get Out, so it's like cool. I'm down.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Tenet.
Another movie I still have no idea what the frack is going on.
Well,
it's not time travel.
Well, see now this trailer actually now I know exactly what's happening.
Yeah, time travel stuff.
No, I mean like I get the plot. He's they're trying to stop something and he can perceive time in a different direction.
They're getting information from the future and something is happening to time things are happening before they happen. So like you see the gunshots have already happened, but they have a way of detecting it so they can interact with it. It's weird. It's crazy stuff.
Well, Scott Derrickson said that it looks like it's a movie going backwards, but John David Washington is going forwards. So like the movie is going backward in time, but he's going forwards in time.
Is this like an opposite Memento?
I'd be into that.
Holy shit! Oh, this movie's gonna be so cool, you guys.
I like the part where he catches a bullet back into the gun. That was
that was so cool. I love Robert Pattinson in this. I love Dave Washington in this. I think that they both look awesome. I just real quickly, what a flex at the end of this trailer, being like coming to theaters.
Yeah.
To
theaters.
Yeah, I really like that. But then they took down the
movie out on demand first. I'll never do it.
I mean, come on, it's Christopher Nolan. You know how much he loves I do. He does IMAX. He's like straight to film. Like how many times have you in like the last two movies, Dunkirk and this one, where it's like watch it and spend out 30 or X, whatever the number is, millimeter screenings.
70 millimeter.
Thank you. 70 millimeter screenings at these theaters for these films.
I still remember like The Dark Knight was one of the first movies to like really use like IMAX footage for like a specific scene. And then like we saw like more and more in Avengers and all that, but like seeing that movie in IMAX and like the specific IMAX stuff, and I'm like, oh wow, Christopher, like cool. That dude progresses filmmaking in such interesting ways, and like he's a true like I love film. Like yeah, DVD's cool, but like I want it to be in the movie theater, and I respect that a lot. He's one of the guys who's keeping it alive.
I'm really stoked for this movie. I really like Christopher Nolan. I haven't. There's probably 2 movies that I'm not crazy about, but otherwise I really like his movies. Prestige is my favorite.
Yes.
So I'm really excited for this because it looks like just another. It doesn't look quite as thin. So my issue with Nolan recently has become that he has more interested in concepts than characters, which isn't a problem. But his films tend to be too short, and the characters get shortchanged because of it. Because he's focusing more on this doesn't look like that. This looks like a really interesting, engaging film and concept, while also having really engaging characters.
I would describe Christopher Nolan's films as the common man's intellectual movie.
Yes,
because you have, and I don't mean
that's so true.
I don't mean that disrespectfully.
No,
but he makes smart movies for regular people, and I swear I don't mean that in a negative way. Because there are movies that are really high concept that that take multiple viewings to get like things like David Lynch stuff, right? He makes like think pieces. Christopher Nolan does that, but on a surface level. And again, that's not bad. He makes brilliant blockbusters. They're not very deep. Again, it's not a bad thing. He doesn't have to do that, but he is a very surface level director.
But he always plays with time. Every single one of his movies plays with the concept of time.
Mm-hmm. No, I keep remembering.
Except for the Dark Knight films.
No, I was gonna say I keep remembering the discussions I've had with a bunch of my friends who are Casey casuals after Dark Knight and Inception, especially Inception. Everyone was talking about Inception.
Inception's where I first realized that he cared more about concepts than characters. Fun fact.
I'm not trying to say it's a bad thing, but like the moment you said that sentence, I was like, I thought of all the people who have like been like film studies and like Nolan is their god, and it's like no, me a deep film, and I'm like, is he?
No, Christopher Nolan is an he is he's one
really
of my
good.
favorite filmmakers for sure. But I do not go to him for deep intellectualism. I go to him for incredible cinematography and badass action scenes.
Brandon knows exactly a person I'm thinking of.
I know people like that.
Yeah,
I get it. But yeah, I'm super excited for this. This looks like another one of his crazy concepts that goes far enough where it's going to make sense and not alienate people. And that's what I like about him. He brings concepts like an Inception and Interstellar. He brings far out concepts to modern people and makes them easy to understand. And that's the one thing I truly like about his filmmaking.
At first, like the first trailer for Tenet, I was completely like, I have no idea what is going on. I felt like this was Christopher Nolan flexing in a way that didn't really vibed with me. I wasn't feeling it.
Cinema.
After this trailer, I'm like, nah, I'm in. I want to watch it. Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's roll. Especially with Robert Pattinson at the very end of the trailer saying like, well, now this is going to be dramatic.
Did you catch the cut when it's just like from the creator of the Dark Knight trilogy and Robert Pattinson comes out of the car?
Me, Batman. Like, you're funny, editor.
Well done.
Robert Pattinson's Batman now.
Hell yeah.
Here's a shadow scene of Christian Bale's Batman. Now here's your new Batman. You're welcome.
All right. Anything else we want to add before we move on?
Yes, I forgot to put it on here. It's not really a trailer. It was a music video. But
I know
yes,
this one.
We missed this. Netflix released a music video for its upcoming.
I watched this. Oh man,
yes, it's so good. Eurovision Song Contest: The Story of Fire Saga, which is the 2 Icelandic singers being played by Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams singing to each other. This film is coming out June 26th. You should check out this music video. It's not a trailer, but it is a music video. It's really cool. Gives you an idea of what's up. It looks great.
Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan and Demi Lovato are also in this film.
So for those of you who don't know, Eurovision is a European American Idol, but it incorporates the entire world. It's like a worldwide American Idol. It's really cool. I always check out some of the performances as it happens. I never watch the whole thing because it's insane and long. But doing a spoof on that seems really funny, and I hope it doesn't make us Europeans mad.
I was sold by this music video so fast.
Will Ferrell
and Rachel McAdams.
Yeah.
Rachel McAdams, I didn't expect this from.
Yeah, she's really funny. Like, she's in like game night and stuff. So, like,
Yeah.
she has.
I'm really excited that Rachel McAdams is flexing her comedic muscle again, because after game night, she deserves it.
Yeah, she's really funny. Oh yeah.
I still need to see that one too.
Great movie. Okay, shall we get into our main topic?
Star Talk.
Sounds good.
So, as always, when a new comic book TV show comes out, well, not always, but like oftentimes
when we can work it out.
We will talk about the first volume in relation to at least the first episode of that series that it inspired. Stargirl, which is the new DC Universe / CW series, in relation to the comic that inspired it, Stars and S.T.R.I.P.E.S by Jeff Johns.
Yeah.
So what do we want to start with, the show or the book?
I say let's start with the book because I say let's start with the book.
Okay. All right. So let's get into it, and we'll from there we'll just organically reach into the show.
Most of the stuff from the show is in this book, so I don't think we need to really worry about spoiling.
No, I don't think so either. Most of the stuff from the first episode of the show is in the first issue. A lot of it. It is important to note that the show combines the Star Spangled Kid and Starman into one character, which he is not in the comics.
No,
right.
We'll be the first to say I think that Starman costume with the stars on his head looks terrible. I think that's a horrible costume. I think that looks really, really, really bad. I think
the Star Spangled Kid outfit.
Yeah, I think the show version is the better version of that, but I think that attire is like, yeah, I get it's old school. It's ugly. Yeah. Not like Dr. Midnight or Owlman. Like, that is an ugly costume, I think. Yeah. I'm sorry.
So the book is, Courtney Whitmore. Pat Dugan is her new stepfather, and they've moved to Blue Valley, Nebraska, because Pat is looking for something. I love Jeff Johns. You know this. I'm a big fan. I was not crazy about this book.
No, why?
This is again. If you read the foreword in the trade paperback, he says, "This is the first comic I wrote for DC 20 years ago."
Right.
And this was in 1999. So I am not going to flack him for being a mediocre writer for his first mainstream comic book, because this was 20 years ago. That being said, it was pretty bare bones, like nothing.
Courtney is a difficult character to like.
Both the movie and the show.
Yeah,
the
show and the book. She is very unlikable.
I am flabbergasted that DC decided to build an entire show around this character, to be honest.
Oh, interesting. I liked her in the show.
Whoa! No, found her absolutely unlikable.
What is there to like? She's
I found her engaging.
Oh, hold up. Brian, I totally could tell that this was what I was going to ask if this was one of Jeff Johns' first outings as a writer.
Very first DC comic.
Yeah, because that felt like it was very early Jeff Johns. That being said, I'm glad that he grew as to one of the best writers in comic books today. And at the same time, I cared more about Pat S.T.R.I.P.E and his history with the JSA in both the show and the comic more than I cared about Courtney.
Yeah, to be honest, Courtney is my least favorite thing in both of these things. I find the JSA and Pat and their struggles so much more endearing than this high school girl's problems that I've seen literally a million times.
So no, I do want to ask, what did you guys think about the show?
If you would have told me this was originally a CW show, I'd believe you. Because it feels standard, so standard.
So I really liked it. I in fact loved it.
I'm happy for you. Oh boy,
I thought it was a really good first episode, and I was really engaged in it and the story it was building. I did like Courtney. I thought she was an engaging character in this first episode. Now I watched in the beginning of the week, so I can't give you too many specifics of why I believe that, but I just can tell you what I felt. And I thought the opening of the show was also really cool, especially if you're a fan of the.
Really good.
The opening
If you're a fan of the JSA, that opening is such a wet dream for you.
That opening is what I wish the show was.
Yeah,
I know. So I've been wanting JSA, like DC, just to pull. I just want JSA stuff. I like all those old heroes. I like those old heroes banding together, and like this is what inspired the Justice League. The Justice Society inspired the Justice League. I want to see Old Flash. I want to see the original Green Lantern who eventually turns into Sentinel. I want to see Dr. Midnight, Hour Man, all those awesome old school comic book characters. And then it's like for some reason, like seeing them fight was cool, but just having Luke Wilson say, Hour Man, Dr. Midnight was like, okay.
The first, as great as that fight scene was, all the dialogue was, it's your name. It's your name. It's your name.
And then even Joel McHale, when he's fighting, he's like, Brainwave. I'm like, wow, you're okay. This is definitely for the people who don't know these characters at all, which is fine. It's totally fine because obviously the JSA is old. It's very old. It's 40s and 30s comic book characters. People don't know who the JSA is.
It is me being a little negative, but it is very comic booky, that opening. And so I don't have a problem with that because that's exactly what they do in comic books. When a character's first introduced, they yell their name. So that's I'm not going to get over that. I do think the effects are pretty good.
This is written by Jeff Johns, so that overlap does make sense.
Surprises me. This is written by Jeff Johns.
This first episode only, I believe, is the only episode he wrote. Just the first.
That's surprising. That's surprising to me because it's definitely written better.
I want to quickly point out that the Green Flame made me really happy because I really like Alan Scott as the Green Lantern. So seeing him just his flames, I was like, "Ooh, Green Lantern!"
Yeah, that was all that stuff is cool.
Yeah. Also, Solomon Grundy shows up in the beginning, and I thought that was a really nice pull because he used to be a Green Lantern villain. He was Alan Scott's villain before he was a Justice League villain or a Batman villain.
I agree, and I thought that whole everything in the opening.
Hello, Justin Rican.
I would like to go back to the book before we go too much further with the show.
Sure.
I like the art design of a lot of things in the book overall.
It's got a cartoony style.
I liked the crossover stuff with the Young Justice.
That's my favorite stuff. Is the end?
Lot.
Yeah.
I do find Courtney to be very difficult. She's just always being difficult. She's constantly like making problems when they don't need to exist. And it's all driven from the narrative, both in the show and the book. It's all driven from the narrative of I just really hate my stepfather because god darn it, he's too supportive.
He's just not my dad, and that's all. That's the only reason.
He's just too darn nice, and he makes my mom too happy. F that guy. And I'm like, I don't
sympathize with you.
This is rough. In a world where I've know personally and have read plenty of stories about like difficult parentage, this is not a good example of a kid having justifiable reasons to dislike a step parent.
Like
it sucks.
At least make Pat a little more like have them butt heads more, because Pat seems really cool.
All he does is roll with
Pat
what she does.
Pat great. He's a great stepfather. So like again, it makes me want to follow Pat in his cool robot suit that could just like fix itself at all times with like, this is a cool ass suit. Tell me more about him. But then we're at school dealing with high school stuff.
You can name so many other stories, both comic book and non-comic book stories, where the step parent is a total dick, is a total jerk, and that gives reason as to why your main character, your protagonist, hates said step parent. And then you look at Pat, he does nothing wrong, and Courtney's just mad that he is not her original father. But then you never know what happens to her dad in this run of the book at all. So it's like, why do you hate him so much? Your dad was never there for you.
And you don't even need to go that far. You could do what Ryan's saying, which is just at least show some more friction from his end, where like sometimes he's in the wrong, but like he's not. He's 100% always in the right.
Yeah,
and she's 100% always in the wrong.
I would love for him.
And it's really hard to get on board with a main character who's so blatantly 100% always in the wrong. And that she's supposed to be a hero.
I agree with that. I found her characterization of the book to be insufferable. She's constantly butting heads and constantly just yelling at people for no reason.
Yes, it's so aggressive, and honestly, the show is just that toned down a little.
Yeah,
but it's the same. She's abrasive and judgmental of everything. There's a part where she's walking through the halls of high school and gives a judgy look to someone because he's playing a tuba.
Oh my god, that's baffled me. Again, like we're not talking about the show, but her first scene in the high school, she's just looking at people doing normal things, and she's like, and I'm like, it's a tuba. What are you talking about? What are you doing?
I didn't catch that, but the one positive I will give Book Courtney is that she stands up to the bully on her first day.
Yes.
Like once that bully is trying to harass Mary for her lunch money, and then Courtney is just like essentially just like pins him up against the locker with her foot, is like, you don't do that. F you.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the one positive I can give her. Everything else,
Yeah, which feels nicely heroic, and I wish that there was some amount of I like the setup of that, about how it is like it didn't feel like female power forced in a way in the book, and I wish that they had pushed more in that direction on the show.
I will say there's the comparison moment in the show when the bully guy walks up to her and he just calls the girl slut. I was like, hold on.
Yeah, I was like,
excuse me.
I get like we're in high school and like tropes, but like this feels so old.
Yeah. So the book overall, I think is fine. There are bits that I enjoy more than others. But overall, it's really hard to get on board with Courtney supposed to be a hero.
Yeah.
And I don't know why she just had to suddenly have braces. Like either she could have started that way, or like it doesn't do it's weird. It's just
obviously this book came out in 1999, and if my memory serves, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was, especially in like a bunch of high school shows or things where they took place in high school, having braces was one of those things. It was like, oh god, no, I have to have braces, because obviously.
No, I get that. I just don't know why we didn't just start there. Because just having it come up like in the middle of the comics, it doesn't
add to it
anything in particular. Like she's hiding her face for that first page, and then it's not important after that.
So one of the biggest differences between the book and the show is that the JSA is alive in the DC Comics continuity at that time, whereas they are not in the show. That creates an interesting dynamic for Stargirl, the Star Spangled Kid, as she is known in the first volume of this book, that she can team up with the JSA, with her father, not her father, her namesake's legacy, but they never show up except for that one moment with Nebula Man at the end of the Nebula Man.
Oh, where the entire superhero community shows up?
That was wild.
Yeah.
Everyone there.
Yeah.
So like I've always found it interesting that they're just like, oh yeah, I was with the JSA issue. I was like, I want to see that. And I don't want to see you fighting whatever the hell the teacher villain is anymore.
It's like the high school hijinks, I don't care. Let me see Star Spangled Kid and Stripe with the JSA. That I care about. I don't care about the high school hijinks.
I really, really like Paintball.
Oh, what a weird
That was a good-looking villain.
Yeah.
I really like that.
I really hope that shows up.
That was so colorful
on the show in like a really interesting, cool way. That'd be cool. Because it seems like they're taking a lot of the evil teacher stuff like straight from that book.
Yeah.
We haven't seen any of the teachers. We've only seen the principal in the show for now.
Yeah, and it looks like the principal in the show is actually the boss of whatever Courtney's mom works at or something, because they changed things around from the book to the show.
I understand what Jeff Johns is trying to do with the series. He wants to. So there's a quote here. He's talking to somebody. Listen, Pat, passing on the mantle isn't easy. It looks easy. A new Flash pops up here, a new Green Lantern there, but there's more to than just giving your old set of tights. And that's like heroes are not made, or heroes are not born, they're made, right? Some stuff like that. So like obviously Courtney is going to become a hero. Like she's not a hero, and that's like she's going to become a hero. She's not going to be the same jerk she was. The problem is I find nothing redeemable about her right now, so I don't want to see her become a hero. There's nothing for me to believe that she's going to be a hero because I don't see it in her yet. You know what I mean?
There's no moment that innately shows her to be beyond selfish.
Yeah, I agree. With that. We know just from context of the DC universe, we know that she is eventually given the cosmic staff, and she changes her name Stargirl. I've seen very, very few of Stargirl in the DC comics, and of what I've seen of her, I've enjoyed. But if I had started here, I don't think I'd give a shit.
No. And even like getting later on in the issues, like when we get to the alien stuff, like I thought that was pretty charming. I thought it was like a lot of fun. Like I
didn't like the aliens. I liked Young Justice coming in, but I didn't like the alien bit.
See, I thought like I was already not enjoying it, so like I thought that added something to it.
Jeff Johns has written The Young Justice before, and I've heard it's good. I've not read it. I have not read that one yet. But I hated how he how he treated Arrowette and Secret and Wonder Girl. Those three what was up with that?
What was that one moment where Wonder Girl comes up to Stargirl and she's like, "Oh, you're the new person. I really love your costume," and she's like side-eyeing her and like, "I wish I could say the same." And it's like, "Whoa, what?
Yeah, what is this?"
It's like
there's a couple of dialogue moments in the comic that give me a lot of cringe. There's one where she's talking about, "I hope the spandex doesn't make me look fat."
Oh yeah.
Or even the fact when all the boys, when they're in high school, they're all girl. Only Robin's the straight one, and then or the straight edge one, where he's like, "Guys, focus on the mission." And Superboy and Impulse are like oogling girls as they walk by.
There's another part where like her and Shiv are fighting. And it's like, "Back off, girlfriend!" And I'm like, man, even in the '90s, this dialogue sucked.
Again, Rogue. I love Rogue showing up in this comic. Like, I'm a big fan of Rogue with the gray hair. Shiv seems cool. Like, I'm a fan of that. Like whatever that character is. Like, she's just like a weird villain lady. Shiv. Yeah.
Her weird.
I liked her staff.
Her behavior with Josh in the book, is something I like, and I'm like, man, I hope that's in the show because I really like that kind of like, oh, you'll do this for me. He's just a peon, and then Josh is like, yeah, I think I'm over this. It's just like, I hope they all die.
Like she's like controlling men, like she's controlling people to her will, and like that one panel where she tells that geek kid or whatever, and it's like, hey, come over here, carry a moat. He's like, oh, okay, and then throws them into locker. He becomes part of the Order of the Dragon or whatever the frack it's called.
There's a Seinfeld joke. So this is your stepfather? Yeah, jerk in a can, available at a store near you. I'm like, I know that. That's a joke from Seinfeld.
Jesus.
The jerk store was
crazy.
You know what's kind of sad? Like the way I was reading this, it had the old ads from the '90s, like the old video game ads.
Oh man,
I was having more fun looking at those old video game ads than I was reading the book.
Me too. I took a picture of this comic book that I've never heard of called Giant Killer, and it's from the heart of a dead volcano. Monsters came to crush the earth, and it's a kaiju killing comic book from 2000, and it looks insane.
That sounds awesome.
It's called Giant Killer. It's all like Japanese. Just look up Giant Killer. It looks super cool, and I never would have discovered it without reading an ad from 1999.
It's Future Book Club.
Yeah.
So can we get a little bit into the show now?
Yes, I would like to spin from the book to the show to say there is a big problem I have with the first episode of the show. If your plot, clearly based on the comic, is to have that the town or at least the high school has some kind of like weird shit going on with it, that's fine. That's cool. Totally build that up, because I felt those vibes when she's at the high school. I'm like, this is like cliche drama turned up to like 15. And the town being like, oh, hi, we're going to wave at you everywhere. Cool. That's totally fine to lay those eggs. Your characters have to notice that's weird. Otherwise, it's not clear that that's a problem.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just looks like weird, bad writing in the show.
Because, like, when you have, like, entire families waving at you multiple times, like, they're walking down the street and there's entire families waving, saying hi, they all think that's totally fun. Like, wow, what a nice community. Definitely not out of the ordinary. I've never seen a supervillain.
Another big change from the show is that the villains are the Injustice Society in the show, whereas in the comic it's like Dragon King or whatever. The Injustice Society appears to be characters that I've not heard of outside of Solomon Grundy. I do know that these are characters from. I've never heard of Brainwave.
No, I've never heard of any of these characters.
Shade is in there too, but I don't know. I didn't catch the name, which I've heard of Shade. Shade is the top hat dude. He's got a cane.
Changing Man is also like a hero, though, so that's interesting.
He used to be a villain. Dude? Shade the Changing Man used to be a JSA villain.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but who's the magician guy that you see in the very beginning?
The magician, the wizard. I think the wizard. Sorry, he's called the wizard.
Whatever. Okay.
He's another old school.
As far as a team called the Injustice Society, there was never a team called the Injustice Society. So I do think that change is kind of interesting, because they're building more along the lines of this is now going to be the legacy. They're going to build a new JSA. They're going to build a new legacy with these new characters. We've seen the posters. There's a new Wildcat. There's a new Iron Man. Next season, I'm sure they're going to introduce a new Flash and Green Lantern.
Good, cool. Give us an old school Alan Scott.
Get another season.
Yeah.
But honestly, like I found the stuff with her learning the staff to be really fun. I thought that was really, really kind of the childlike wonder of her discovering how to use the staff and how she can do things. I don't think she's as insufferable, and I do get your point. But I did find her to be rather engaging. Maybe not the best character to come out of anything, but I did like her in the show more than I did the comic.
I can agree to that.
I mean, yes, I like her more than the comic, but I still don't like her very much.
Right.
But see, that's the thing. Like I liked her, and I cannot say that about the comic.
I don't like her as a main character. I find her selfish.
Mm-hmm.
I find nothing heroic in her, and something about the way that they filmed the stuff with the cosmic staff makes it feel like she's just a person holding a staff that does everything for her.
It's like Upgrade, because the staff's doing everything for her. She's just a passenger. She's barely doing
I think it's supposed to be like you see Sylvester, the Star Spangled Kid, Starman, use the staff. I think it's supposed to be like a symbiotic union. You work together.
Yes, I get that. In this, it just looks like she is a tag along and the staff does everything.
Because
there's nothing innately special about her. I don't like how they bring up we're going to address the dad in the room thing right away. Oh, just kidding. Never mind. We're not going to do that. Oh, let's just wave that away real quick. I don't like that. It's telling to me that I think the best moment in the show is from Amy Smart when she's talking to her and explains why Pat has been good to them and everything.
Amy Smart's
and I'm like, this is the emotional moment that matters to me because of her and not anything to do with the daughter. That's pretty telling to me.
So one of the things I appreciated in the show was that she doesn't. She's not. I don't feel this way anyway. I didn't feel like she was so insufferable towards Pat. Like she doesn't like Pat because she upended her life, and I understand that. Like I've moved around a lot when I was a kid. I hated my family for moving me around.
I've had 5 stepdads. I get it.
And so like I thought that was more believable. And even when she realized that perhaps Sylvester is her father and she doesn't know for sure, I found that to be, and her heel turn with Pat, like she all of a sudden now like kind of likes him, kind of trusts him in this journey. I felt that was more believable, and I felt that was more engaging than her just calling everybody a jerk in the comic.
I don't feel like she trusts him now, though. I don't feel like that bond is really there.
The episode ends with him showing up in the robot, right?
Yeah,
that's how it ends. Yeah, I don't think there's enough trust built there yet.
That's
I think
a good looking robot.
And look, I understand. Yes, it is, and the car's cool too. I understand that this is a first episode, but in a first episode, I ended not really caring about the main character because she's just kind of aggressively mean to everybody around her.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of reason for me to like her.
Again, I've seen protagonists.
She also seems really stupid.
Yeah.
Like she can't catch on to a lot of really basic things. Again, it's a problem to me that she goes through the high school being so cliche dramatic and has no response to that being out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Just like, this is fine.
I would say
this is fine.
It's fine.
Totally
like
normal.
we've had our main characters be jerks before, and they have to grow as characters. That happens in a lot of shows. The problem is I didn't see anything in this first episode to indicate she is a good person or a hero. You know what I mean? Like she starts like wibbly wobbly and turns into the great hero we all know. I didn't see the start of a hero in this first episode. Now the second episode will give me more, I'm sure, but this is the pilot. This is supposed to be the episode that gives me that.
I guess I just didn't see her as that insufferable jerk. Like I get that she's a little selfish and she's a little upset, and but I bought her as just an upset teenager more than I bought her as just a jerk like she is in the comics. And I guess that's probably where the difference is in our perception of the show, is that I just don't think the Courtney Whitmore of the show is in fact a jerk. I just think she's upset and she doesn't know how to process that.
Yeah, I wish they had shown me more to make me like her. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't like her, regardless of if it's because she is a jerk or she's just upset about things. They didn't give me a single moment that made me go, I'm on board with her. I'm with her.
You know who I am on board with? Her mom and Pat and like some of the villains.
No, because when the show first starts off, it dangles that JSA carrot.
Let's talk about
what?
Yeah. No, go.
No, I was gonna say it dangles that JSA carrot and then switches out for the Stargirl broccoli that I didn't want.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's called Stargirl, so like I'm not expecting it to be a JSA show immediately.
I know.
Yeah, I am glad that at least
it's not supposed to be. It's a show about legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Luke Wilson. I thought he was really good.
I did too.
Yeah,
I did. Yeah.
I'm glad that he's given something to do. Because like I don't see him around very much, and I really like him.
Can I tell you?
So
can I give you a perfect example of what I mean about like? Sorry, because I just thought of it about Courtney being just like ambivalently aggressive towards everyone in the show. It's when she's about to go down and find the staff, and she passes by her stepbrother who's watching marshmallows microwave, and she has to stop and ask him, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Microwaving marshmallows," and she just gives him such a look of disgust and upset that is just unearned. And that's what I mean by like she's just being terrible in every moment. There's rarely a moment where she's being likable.
I see what you're saying, but I read that scene differently, I guess. I want to talk about something real quick about Sylvester Joel McHale as a small role in this, but I thought he was pretty good as Starman. I think he embodied the superhero role for a bit,
for
really nicely. But really nicely. But I didn't care for the whole like find someone who's worthy, not you.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Okay, so I didn't have a problem with that when I didn't think this was actually a death scene. And then he did die.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's really off in humor and a weird way to start this show.
It's definitely a Joel McHale sense of humor, but it's not.
It feels like Joel McHale. It doesn't feel like this show.
Yeah, it's not CW. Yeah, it's totally.
Yeah, I found that bit to be really jarring as far as quote unquote humor went.
And see,
I agree with you.
If the whole show was totally like that, then I would have been more on board with it. Because I laughed when that first happened. I laughed, but then the rest of the show was a traditional CW show, and I'm like, oh, so Joe McHale was just being Joe McHale for 1 minute. That's all we're getting of that. I'm like, oh, then don't even do that. Don't why. Okay.
I mean, talk about being mean. He's very mean to Stripesy.
Yeah,
he's very mean to his sidekick.
Very Jeff Winger.
Yeah, I agree. Like it felt out of place.
Yeah. Considering like the comic, like they get along great, right? They're BFFs.
Yeah,
we didn't see any animosity, at least from the 8 issues. I actually read 10 issues because I read the 0 issue, which is a double-sized issue. I thought that was in the trade. That's okay. I learned more about Jack Knight, and he's the Starman.
The Starman at the time of the publishing of the comics. Yeah, Jack Knight. Starman has a very. I am not surprised that they decided to combine Star Spangled Kid and Starman because Starman has a confusing history in comics.
James Robinson and his whole journey with doing Starman.
Because the original Starman is owned by someone else, not DC, but the licensed Starman is owned by DC. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's one of those situations.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm about done. What do you guys think?
I remember really liking that second trailer that we watched.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember what it was about that I didn't see in the show that I've watched it now. And I wonder if it's stuff from later in the season that involves more JSA stuff. But honestly, your main character isn't a draw for me, so it's really hard for me to want to watch the show anymore.
And that's the thing is, like, I was talking to Ryan about it, is that we've watched other CW shows and other origin superhero shows, and in the first episode, like, I like Oliver Queen, I like Batwoman,
the Flash.
I like the Flash.
You see the heroism in those characters.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like the characters in Titans, even though some are assholes. I like the characters in Doom Patrol, even though some are assholes. Like, this feels weirdly like it didn't hit the right notes to, I think, engage an audience that isn't already, like, interested in the JSA or in just DC comic shows. I don't think it did enough to pull them in. Like, I'll keep watching for now because I like DC comic shows and I like a lot of the surrounding pieces of what this show's about. But I don't think this was as strong as I wish it had been. This feels much more like when this was first announced, and I kind of went, wait, why? I'm kind of going, wait, why?
Honestly, thinking of all the pilots for the other CW shows, like I know I liked Arrow's more. I know I like Flash's more. Like, I don't remember Batwoman's, but like
the only one I can think of that is worse is Legends.
This feels like a CW show from 10 years ago. Like, it looks so much better, but there's nothing structurally in terms of scripting or plot that make it feel like this show could have come out 10 years ago and it would have been the exact same to me. Like, it just looks better. I really thought with DC Universe pushing this it would be a better show and it wouldn't feel like a traditional CW show. But this is why maybe it's on the CW, because it's a traditional show.
And since John's is coming back to it now and writing this episode, I would expect it to have a little bit more of something to bring to the table that feels more like him having learned as a writer, and I feel like he's adapting a little too closely to the vest of something that we've all acknowledged isn't very good.
Yeah.
Like isn't his best. And he's keeping it a little too close. Like he could have evolved Courtney as a character, even just from the outset, just to be more complicated. Again, like it's the same problem from the comics that like there isn't enough justification for her being upset from like directly with Pat when she's engaging with him. He's not difficult enough. He's too nice.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work. It just makes her seem like a bitch.
Yeah.
And he didn't bring enough of what I know he's learned as a writer to the table here to make this feel like an evolved piece of work.
Judging also, because again, we read the first trade, the 8 issues. If the show progresses at the same rate as the comic, I don't see myself watching this at all. Because like if she doesn't get any better for this first season, I couldn't watch the show. I really couldn't. I don't think I could. That's me, of course. That's me.
This is the third time Stargirl's been in live action. Second time Jeff Johns has written Stargirl in live action.
Oh yeah,
he wrote the Smallville 2-parter, The Justice Society.
Right.
I gotta say, I really like the Stargirl that was in Legends. I really liked her.
Was it the same girl?
No.
Oh.
It was one of the Power Rangers, right?
Yeah. I'd have to look. But I really liked her in her Legends appearances, and this doesn't feel as good.
Okay.
Ben, you have any final words?
Really, when I was watching this, it felt long. The episode itself just felt long. One of the things I was really bummed out, and a character I actually liked from the comic was Mary, and how Mary was just regulated to her hometown friend and not her new friend at Blue Valley High.
That's a good point.
Because don't get me wrong, Courtney in the book she's kind of insufferable, but the fact that Mary becomes her friend, tries to show around school, even tries to help, and even though I didn't like the aliens, she's like, no, I'm a techno geek. I can fix stuff like this. Obviously, I could only assume later on in the run of the comics, Mary becomes a more vital part of the team at the pit stop. But the fact that she's just thrown under the bus entirely in the show kind of ticks me off, because I actually like Mary.
If she's going to show up
she's
later,
gonna be more present.
Yeah, she's got to show up later because she's important.
Not only that, she humanizes Courtney. Like Courtney's best moments are when like Mary's there in the comics and calling her out and saying, "I don't know,
you need that foil.
Was that really that bad?"
Yeah,
she even calls out Courtney for ragged on her mom, and she's like, "At least you have one."
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Yeah,
you need that. You need that force against her.
Who knows? Maybe Mary will show up in the show. But the only part where I actually like perked up when I was watching the show was when S.T.R.I.P.E showed up, and that's at the very, very end. The last 3 seconds of the show is when you see S.T.R.I.P.E. Robot looks great, but then I'm like, I don't know if I want to come back, because the whole time I'm like, I know we're comparing this, but I wasn't enjoying myself. I felt how long this episode was. This episode felt super long.
It was also like an actual hour. It was like 53 minutes.
And speaking just to like the DC Universe shows, I think this is the roughest I've felt about a pilot since Titans. Titans, I didn't come in loving either.
Yeah.
There were a lot of things I didn't like about that either. In fact, Titans' whole first season still wears a little like some things are great and some things aren't to me, whereas season 2 has been much better. But comparing it to Doom Patrol or Swamp Thing, this is not matching their tone or their level. As far as like where I feel like, oh man, we're hitting all
quality.
Those notes.
Because every like Harley Quinn, all the shows on DC Universe are great, and if this would have premiered on DC Universe, this would have been the first true like misstep, I think. Because even I like Titans a little bit more than you, but even I could recognize it's fine. But this is not as good as Titans, even the first season. I think there's characters I like a lot more in Titans.
But again, it is just one episode. This could change.
I hope so.
But this was more disheartening than I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
I was pretty excited for it too. We'll see.
I liked it, so I'll keep going with it.
I'm glad.
I'm glad.
That's good. That's good.
I'm gonna give it more chances.
It's not like I'd want to dislike things.
Yeah.
Okay, so next week, we're going back to the book club. It's my turn. I don't know what I'm going to do. I forgot to pick before I left.
Oh,
so I will let you guys know on social media. And then we do have an idea for next week. We're not going to. I figure we shouldn't say it yet in case something happens.
We'll hold back on it for now.
But if we can make it work, it should be a lot of fun. But we do have a new Fake Nerds watch in the bucket. We recorded a discussion of the final 4 episodes of Clone Wars: The Siege of Mandalore arc. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, that'll go up. That'll go up this coming week. So will a new Basement Arcade.
Cool. Okay, so as we said, so check us out on YouTube. If you guys are watching this live show, check us. Make sure to like and subscribe. Like this video, subscribe to our channel. Everything helps. We all appreciate it.
I love it.
If you want to check out more of us, we have Fake Nerds Watch, as I just said. Siege of Mandalore coming up. Basement Arcades for Swamp Thing, as we just mentioned. We have Watchmen. We have tons of other stuff.
The Boys, Stranger Things.
Tons of other stuff.
Dark Crystal.
And also, we have Basement Arcade right now going on. Is Mortal Kombat 9. And as Sparks said, new episode will be up soon. All right. We also a Funko affiliate. You can use promo code SHOP10 for 10% off your purchase if you click the link in our description below. This is the description of this video and the description of if you're listening to this on the audio. We also have a Patreon and a TeePublic. If you want to support us on TeePublic, there are masks. I was able to actually figure out how to make those work. So if you guys are still, worried about going outside, there are masks on TeePublic. I'm actually going to buy a new phone sleeve, one of our logos, phone sleeves, maybe. Thinking about it. We got a lot of cool stuff up on our TeePublic right now, and our Patreon, obviously, second to what?
Be responsible. Stay healthy. Wear a mask.
All that. Patreon, if you guys can support us, please do. Every little bit helps. Like and subscribe, review on iTunes, Patreon, buy on TeePublic, it helps. Everything. If you want to find us, if you want to find everything, we have a website, fakenerdpodcast.com. You can find everything we do, including blogs, including our YouTube page, including our TeePublic and our Patreon. Everything is up there. fakenerdpodcast.com. All of those are in the link in the description.
Prawn Hub.
Thank you to everyone who listens. Thank you to everyone who's watched this. Thank you to Solo Wookie and Justin Rican who popped in for a second. Greatly appreciate you guys sticking around this long and watching us throughout all this quarantine cast. Thank you to Jeremy Bellucci. If you are listening to this after on iTunes or our podcast or podcast of the video, thank you. I'm sure you heard all of his great music. So thank you to him. You can find him at Jeremy Bellucci Keyboards. He has a podcast called Suburban Proctologist. You can find that on iTunes. He also got a YouTube page. You can find his Instagram at SubProc Podcast. His Facebook, Suburban Proctologist Official. New episode went up recently, so that's 9 episodes of very funny comedy done by our good friend Jeremy Bellucci. Thank you to Mike Patola. Mike, you're great. We love you. You can find him at Mike Patola. He did our logos. You can find those logos on our TeePublic. You can find all of his awesome artwork. He recently remade a piece of art that he had done.
Yeah.
Because it was lost. That's because it was stolen. Incredible.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy.
He's a great guy. All right. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all at Fake Nerd Podcast, fakenerdguys@gmail.com. If you'd like to get in touch with us personally, I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. Sparks, why don't you go next?
You can find me transforming into a blue Super Saiyan on Xenoverse 2 at Sparks Witty on Instagram, Twitter, SPARKZ Witty.
Ryan?
You can find me at DJ Tony Snark everywhere that the internet is alive. Just type in DJ Tony Snark. If you want to follow me on Twitch or YouTube, type in DJ Tony Snark 616. I'm streaming stuff. Maybe it'll work. We'll see.
Ben?
And you can find me praising the sun and taking much-deserved naps at BedMagnet27 on Instagram and Twitter. And also, because I love old school video games, I also write for oldschoolgamermagazine.com. I swear I'm going to start and hopefully finish a new article tonight. I know I've been lagging on it severely, but I will get one out tonight or tomorrow. Definitely before next week.
Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Rate and review wherever you get us. We greatly appreciate it, guys. Until next week. I'm going to wait. Stay fake nerds.